Music.
Here it comes. Wait for it.
1, 2, 1, 2. What's up, guys? Welcome back. I'm here.
He's here.
I made
We
it
missed
this
you,
week.
man.
Man, I miss being here. But it's not about me this week. We got the lovely Inge Sildnik. Did I murder it?
No, it was pretty good.
bit.
Close.
Okay, so your
I
job
think
is-
we've got to start with
we
Mad
gotta start,
Max.
Yeah.
What's going through your mind when you're getting dressed as a gas? Is it a gas monkey? Is that what they call?
As a gas boy.
Yes.
Yeah.
On the motorbike. Putting all the gear on, and you know you're going to have to jump over a truck and throw a bomb.
Well, it's
What was the whole deal with that?
well, there's a lot of rehearsals that go into it anyway, so you're prepared. But there's always that little bit of, I guess, adrenaline and excitement. So you sort of, and when you do it, it's pretty cool to see the playback when you see it done.
Yeah, I reckon.
So you did a few dry runs on that?
Yeah, so we always rehearse before we do a stunt, especially something as big as that. And after the rehearsals, then we do an on-camera rehearsal, make sure all the timing. And, you know, a scene like that can take a couple of days to actually shoot. So all the different angles and make sure that you do it first without any of the explosions and then you add the explosions in. And, yeah.
What sort of bike was it? It was because you couldn't tell from in the movie. It was.
They had a whole bunch of different ones, and so they had. I mean, we had because originally the movie was meant to be shot over here in Australia, so the bikes that we had were built for here, not for Africa. So there were things like the R1 and those kind of things. So we had to have paddles on them because of the sand and stuff like that. So yeah.
Which country?
In Africa, in Namibia.
Oh, wow. We've got a Namibian friend, actually, and Apucho.
Yeah.
She's signed on to the record label.
Apucho.
Hi, Apucho. Yeah. You have to give me a call. I haven't seen you in a while.
So I thought they would use like motocross bikes for that jump.
For the jumping scenes were motocross bikes, and then for the flat scenes they had just kind of road bikes that were set for sand riding.
So where'd you learn to ride? Because I rode for a long time. I couldn't jump that far. I was like, holy shit.
Well, I grew up semi-rural on a semi-rural farm, and so I guess I grew up riding motorbikes and horses and got used to that kind of thing. And
New South
I suppose New South Wales, just like 5 acres, so nothing huge. But my brother had motorbikes, and so I hung out with them, and we had a little motocross track down the front of the property, and so it was kind of his bike. So I got my road bike license at I think about 18 or 16 when you can get it.
Yeah.
So I've had it for quite a few years, but we were riding on the farm before. You could
Did you
actually
have
get
a
your
foam
license.
pit on the farm?
Just quick, we're going to practice our bomb throws.
No, but when I was practicing wheelies, I did end up with an ankle reconstruction. This was after that movie, though. Was it before? No, it was years before. So I decided that wheelies maybe probably weren't my style.
So did you put your hand up to do that jump because you knew you could do it?
No, we were picked for those roles that we were doing on Mad Max. So we ended up doing a couple of different roles. We sort of were doubling main people, and then they used us also for different roles on that film.
Yeah, it's a very very good movie. I love that movie.
It's all action. It's like A, B, C, back to B, back to A.
Yeah.
And it literally is just action, action, action. It was a pretty epic kind of a movie to work on.
Yeah. Who? So you met Nathan Jones? We were talking about.
Yes, I did. Yep, he's a big fella. So
yeah. And who doubled him? Because
he played it.
Half Thor.
Yeah. I don't think they could find someone to. He played himself, so he wasn't doubled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got the Supercoat dog here.
He's getting himself all tied
Yeah.
up. I'm gonna undo him. Sorry.
It's a cute dog.
He's just trying to
Beautiful dog.
take the.
Chester.
He's trying to
And he's
take
actually quite famous himself. You
Yeah.
know Chester from the
We should have
Supercoat
put him on a
ads.
chair, actually.
We definitely should have.
I'll let him go free reign.
Nah,
He'll sit down.
Chester.
Oh, nope. Here we go. It's coming over your side. Sorry.
You can't just bump on camera. We've got to get them all.
Yeah.
Good boy. So how do you get into something like being a stunt woman? Jesus.
Yeah.
It's a different job role. Where do you start?
I know, yeah. So you've got a background just at home doing normal farm things, maybe a bit more extreme.
Yeah.
And did that lead you, where did you go from there, you know? So you went to school, obviously. And
Yeah. It would have been nice not to have to go to school, but just stay home and play all day. No, well, I guess my parents were always about letting us experience as many different things as we could. So they had us in gymnastics, myself and my brother, and swimming and dancing and horse riding, all that kind of thing. So from there it was then choose what you really like and go get more experience and better at that. And then I suppose I've always loved a little bit of action and excitement and adventure. And I got to a point where I was dancing as well as horse riding, and I ended up giving up a couple of things, and it was my choice to either dance professionally or horse ride professionally, and I chose dancing. So I ended up going over to London, living in London for a couple of years.
What type
as
of
a
dance?
Contemporary.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Did you do ballet?
I did, yeah, but I don't quite have a ballet dancer's figure, so I'm a
What,
bit too broad.
Ridiculous. I remember once I was working chefing at the Nutcracker Suite, and it's been running in London for 20 or 30 years. And these Russian ballet dancers, they must have been in their 40s. They looked like they were 12 years old.
Yeah,
and
they're pretty
were
tiny.
Man.
They weren't allowed to eat?
No.
I don't think they could eat, actually. You know, it was wicked, man.
Oh, the discipline involved to be
To be it's amazing.
The anorexia, isn't it?
You
too?
just have to destroy yourself.
I think a lot, there are generally, some of them are petite naturally, but obviously
it doesn't help.
Doesn't help.
You're putting your body through that from such a young age, I think. I don't think you'd go through a natural development.
I started dancing at the age of 3, or doing ballet at the age of 3. But
was that in Australia or
that was
Estonia?
in Australia.
So you're from Estonia?
Well, my heritage is Estonian. I was born here, so I'm pretty Aussie, but I do have the Euro heritage. My parents came out during escaped World War II when they were. So they actually came out on boats. When I think my mum might have been 4 and my dad was 6, and they ended up on the same boat, so they didn't know each other, and then they ended up in Australia. I think it took them a couple of years to get here.
They're both from Estonia?
Both from Estonia.
Did they come with their parents, or was it just by themselves?
So my dad came with his mum and ended up being his stepfather, and then my mum came with her mother.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I know a lot of English kids, they just whacked them on a boat.
And
That
see
was
you
it,
later.
no parents, no nothing, see ya, off you go.
Yeah.
Survive.
Yeah. And they did.
Yeah.
But my mum was actually, and she didn't sort of tell me till a lot later, but she was a dancer. And
wow.
she got accepted into the Borovansky School of Ballet at the age of 15.
Wow.
And the Borovansky School, for those that don't know, obviously, is a fantastic
establishment.
a really good school.
It's a German school.
Is it?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
Those bloody Germans. Yeah, she wouldn't want to go there, I suppose.
Is Estonia? Estonia's up next to Finland, Latvia.
Russia.
Yeah, Lithuania, Latvia.
Yeah.
So it would have been, because they got independence not that long ago, was it?
Yeah. I think they had their 150th song festival, which celebrated the Independence Day, and that was last year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Were they from near... Because I only went to Tallinn, so that's all I know. But I remember actually years ago... So I went to Tallinn and I loved it.
Where's Thailand? Estonia?
Yeah, that's the capital city.
Capital city, correct.
And I came back home, started work again, and I was telling everyone I'm going to go and live over there. And I found a windmill house. And it was $40,000. I'm going!
You're going to go live in a windmill. Yeah.
Chop wood and hang out in the windmill. No.
You should have.
They like the heavy metal over there as well? Or is that a sweet?
They do.
They do like?
I think a lot of the European countries like their heavy metal.
Yeah.
They're really into it. Yeah.
That's correct.
Yeah.
They even kind of have that darker type of dance music as well, like the hard trance type.
Yeah.
That's more my style.
I just remember all the nightclubs were underground.
Yes.
Like, they were like dungeons. Like it was so cool. It was so different.
It is. Like, and first time I went was in 2000. And I was invited back there. It was quite funny to judge a cooking show.
Wow, really?
I've been back 3 times, but judge a cooking show of all things.
On TV?
On TV over there. Yeah.
What's Estonian cooking like?
It was, it's, as long as it's not liver, but there is kind of liver.
I remember going to, like, is it heavy kind of stuff, you know, lots of sausages and stews and things like that.
Yeah, your cabbages, your pork, they're very into pork. And
it's very strange though, isn't it? Because they all probably look like you. They're all quite fine, you know.
They're beautiful people.
Yeah, that's really weird. I found out about, I was in Prague, the same thing, and I got a salad in Prague and it was like pork and dumplings, and that was the salad, you know. I'm like, holy shit. But it's weird. I think maybe
there's less sugar and
less processed. It's real food, you know, and also they don't stress about it. Yeah, you know, like this is what we're eating. And stuff.
I think I got a meat pie there, and it was, I don't know if it was there or Sweden, but it wasn't a meat pie that you think of. But I thought, oh, meat pie, sweet, I'll get one of them, and it was like a hot dog in a piece of bread that'd been battered and. Yeah, what the hell's this? There's your hot dog. Yeah, sorry, there's your meat pie.
So you're a hot dog or meat pie, I think if you eat whatever that country's natural kind of food is, wherever it is, it's sort of, it's like going to Italy. You eat the pasta and the pizza and it's fine.
Yeah, it is. It was what they needed to survive, wasn't it? So you go to that area, and I suppose we should all be eating kangaroo and stuff, really.
Well,
it is really nice.
I think we are supposed to eat wherever our bloodline comes from. We should probably look at how they ate natively and eat like that. I reckon that would eliminate a lot of problems.
I noticed I worked with a macrobiotic chef once, and he was from, I think it was Sweden, and he was saying, you always follow the seasons, so whatever a plant needs to grow in winter, that's what you need to grow. So if you can just follow those seasons, and that's where we stuffed up, where we can have strawberries all year round. It tastes like crap apart from 3 months, you know. So if you follow
it's
that,
like water, isn't it?
Oh yeah, they're bloody awful.
Yeah. So how did you get into movies?
So after...
So you're doing the dancing first.
Let's go back. We're all a bit dumbfounded by that.
Sorry
about Willie.
I want to hurry up, get to the
movies.
He's a film guy.
But you've
settled down.
You gave up horse riding, which is probably a pretty dangerous thing to be doing. Not as dangerous as your later work.
Exactly.
It's quite dangerous.
Yeah.
To do dancing, and so you went.
And then left and said to my parents, I'm moving out of home, and at the age of 20 moved to London and worked over there for a couple of years, but then I got a bit of an injury and it didn't allow me to keep dancing professionally, so hence why not do stunts, right?
Go from hemi tears to bloody broken femurs.
Pretty much, something like that, but you get paid better for it. So
And did you meet people in the dance world that helped you transition over?
No, I met a couple of guys randomly, and I think it's so funny because at a school reunion, a couple of my girlfriends said, "Oh, you always said you wanted to be a stunt performer," and I was like, I don't actually remember saying that back at high school.
Kidding. Really?
And
they remembered it.
They remembered it, and I met these guys, and when I was in the UK, and they said, "Oh, well, all your stuff that you've done, like your motorbike riding and your horse riding and cars and stuff, can help you, like, you can get paid to do that stuff on set." And I was like, really? So I looked into doing it, and the UK didn't recognise half my qualifications because the way it works in Australia, UK, New Zealand, you have to be qualified to become a stunt performer. So you have to be part of the union and get graded.
An apprenticeship, basically.
There's a full process to it, yeah. Whereas America and other countries aren't quite the same. You can just go ahead and get in there, and you know, if you're good at what you do, then you can get the job. But so I was like, all right, well, I'll come back to Australia because half my qualifications are recognised, and then started the process, trained for about another year or so, getting myself upskilled in areas that I needed to do. And then went up against the grading committee and got graded and got my first job, and that went all right, and then got my next job, and so on and so on.
So those previous qualifications, they weren't stunt qualifications, though. They were other things you had?
So you have to be able to, there's heights, water, heights, water, fighting, and vehicles, animals. So animals can be bull riding, horse riding.
So you had horse riding down.
So the horse riding was fine. I'd done martial arts for a few years prior, and I sort of
What type of martial art?
Kung Fu.
Ooh, the real one.
Shaolin style.
Wing Chun? Was it Wing Chun?
Shaolin.
Shaolin. Oh, yeah.
Oh, God.
That's the one you really wanted to do, man.
I really liked it because it was very flowing and there's a lot of movement and kicks and
stunts and
all that kind of thing.
Fantastic,
So a lot of choreography and stuff.
So how far did you get in the Kung Fu?
I got my first black tip.
Woo.
Yeah.
Legit.
So
Blue belt, black tip, something like that?
blue comes after.
Oh, is it?
Oh no, red, sorry. So yeah, blue and then black.
Yeah, okay.
And then red. Certain different styles have your sashes different colours.
Did you keep going and do black?
I didn't because our Shifu actually can't speak, passed away. So, and yeah, so, and it kind of, the place where we went wasn't quite the same without him. Yeah. So, kind of lost that whole, but I was pretty happy with kind of getting there. Yeah.
Well, you kick above your head from what I was saying, so it's pretty impressive.
Maybe not so much anymore, but yeah, so...
That's great. So we've got the
started
fighting.
The process, yeah.
And where did the water come in?
So I'm a scuba diver
Oh, Jesus.
and water skier
Yeah.
and a basic surfer.
So when did you go to school? There can't be that much time.
I was, morning and afternoon and weekends doing lots of sports and activities.
Imagine. What did you do on the weekend? Oh, fuck, here we go.
Isn't that great? And I presume at the time you didn't have a cell phone or anything.
No.
So that's what can happen. That's why I'm getting rid of mine, man. I'll be just like you soon.
I think it was a way for our parents to just like dump us somewhere and leave us for a few hours and then we get home and we sleep. So we don't bother them.
My mum just dumped us at Sunday school.
Oh,
she wasn't religious at all. It was like, there you go.
Learn about God.
I actually didn't mind it, you know.
Yeah?
But yeah, some of those stories a while, but I didn't realise they thought they were true. It was really weird.
Yeah.
Anyway, we don't want to alienate that.
Yeah. We've covered that.
Your first gig. So you've got your qualification now.
Yeah.
And what was the first stunt role?
So the first stunt role happened to be with horses. And it was a Bryce Courtney book that was made into a film called Jessica.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
Yeah. So it was about there was Indigenous people and the English and I guess it was set on a farm. And
in Australia?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, in Australia.
So do they give you the script or just like a piece of the script?
Depending on, not for that one.
Yeah.
But so you have a stunt coordinator that basically will get you in and tell you what you need to do and all that kind of thing. But now later on, as I've moved further on up the sort of ladder and that kind of thing, now before we do things, we are sent a script to get the context of what we're doing. Or if we ask for it specifically, we can have it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And this role, was it doing a stunt or was it just doubling someone?
So there was some fight scenes, or like she sort of fought three guys at one time, and then there was
horse.
No, that one wasn't on a horse. Sorry, make myself clear.
It sounds like a mock
No,
Zorro.
Exactly. No, that was separate. Yeah, riding sequences, galloping type sequences, horse fall, and then fighting in the barn.
Wow.
And you didn't know the horse beforehand, or do you?
No.
Okay.
No.
How do you get the horse to rear up?
They're trained to do that.
Ah.
Yeah, specifically trained.
Is it a command or?
Yeah. Yeah. So some are trained via whips with no one on them. Some are trained with riding or with the whip and then with someone on them.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's impressive to see that, like, a horse.
It is. Even like I've been around them all my life, and I love watching a rearing horse if it does it well.
It's kind of wild though, isn't it? It's like scary and wild.
That's how big they are.
Yeah.
They're just like,
that would crush my head.
The athletes of the animal kingdom horses.
Oh, yeah.
They're beautiful.
They're so athletic.
Yeah.
Got skinny legs though, that's the problem, isn't it? Jumping over things and that, and
Snapping.
one little snappy leg.
Yeah,
and
they
that's
got big glutes, but...
Yeah, their asses look good.
They do. They have nice. I agree. They have nice little peachy bums.
You know too much about me.
Yeah. This is all unfolding right before our
I
eyes.
don't know where it came from.
First Sunday school and now.
Yeah. What happened at Sunday school again?
Yeah.
Catholic
sure.
Sunday school?
It was all of them. Actually, the Seventh-day Adventists were the most fun. Oh, I think we tried them all.
Yeah. Getting kicked out.
Kicked out of them, stuck to another one. Yeah.
It's 200
It's not about me, though. So I haven't done any stunts, I don't think.
Hit the first movie, and then where did it go on to?
And so that went well, obviously. And
That
I thought,
went well.
hey,
Yeah. So you do a good job and you get the next job and hired again and again, and hopefully you do a good job again, and you get known for certain skills, and then you start working. So you get to build up a bit of a reputation.
Yeah, is there a bit of a stunt community? Like,
Yeah,
you guys
there
all
is.
know each other in that?
Yeah. I mean, there definitely is, and I still go to some jobs where I haven't met some of the people that have been in the industry for a couple of years.
Yeah.
But generally, we all kind of have worked with each other at some stage.
And there wasn't too many women doing stunts.
Not a while back. No,
Yeah.
it was a lot of men that would double the women.
So they just wear a
But
wig.
They would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, we're just talking about watching, I don't know if you've watched Cobra Kai lately, the Karate Kid thing.
No, you know what? I'm like, do I? Don't I?
No,
do
you
I?
got it.
Don't
You've
I?
got
And I'm
it.
like,
Did you like the movie?
yeah, of course. Who
So
didn't? But
It just
I
takes you
haven't
back to
seen
your
Cobra Kai.
childhood, I think.
So I've heard mixed opinions about it.
Well, it's so
It's
corny.
cheesy, yeah.
I think it doesn't take itself seriously.
Yeah.
But some of the fight scenes, like the last one was Kreese fought the blonde dude. I can't remember their names anyway.
Oh, yeah.
But they obviously
Johnny.
and obviously he's like, Kreese must be pushing 80 now. So and so most of it's doubled. But the guy who doubled him just looks nothing like him and is like tall and skinny. And Kreese is kind of
Yeah, there's like a 30-year gap between them.
So have you ever, when you watch your movies back, can you tell it's you? I know it's a bit different for you watching it, I suppose, because you know it's you. But
yeah, you know the scenes that you did and the bits and pieces you
Yeah.
did, so you
You're
do
looking-
know. Yeah.
Have you ever
which-
seen yourself in one? And can you tell us what movie? if
Wait,
you have?
well, I saw myself a lot in, Wolf Creek I knew,
Yeah.
Mortal Engines, I was like, yep.
Wow.
Transformers, definitely, because there were specific scenes. But obviously to other people, a couple of friends with me came to the Mortal Engines premiere, and they were like, we could so tell that was you by the way you run. And, so they're like, yeah, that's you.
That was Peter Jackson.
Yeah.
That was Peter. Was he all right?
Yeah, he was all right. His opinion of stunt performers are we're there to get smashed. So
Really? Yeah.
Yeah.
Use them up.
use
Cannon
them
fodder.
up, definitely.
Well, that one's done. Next.
Next.
Yep.
Wow.
So
He had a hard time topping Lord of the Rings, though, didn't he?
Yeah.
So I actually like this earlier stuff, Brain Dead and that.
Yeah, okay. I didn't mind that Mortal Engines, though. It was different.
yeah, it was kind of like a mix of different vibes.
There's
I find
a lot
there
of
was
green
sort of
screen work, though, eh? You know?
Mortal Engines. Yeah, we were in a studio for 3 months.
So you were on harness, like...
Yeah, we were on
Wires.
harness as well, wires.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you
Yes.
prefer, being doing that kind of stuff or actually getting out and...
I love harness work and being able to do tricks and I guess action scenes, which end up looking really amazing that way.
Yeah.
But when you're stuck in a studio from dawn till dusk and you come out and it's dark and you go in when it's dark, you lose all concept of where you're at, what day it is, and But being out is amazing. We get to go to some beautiful locations, but then if it's cold and winter and hot, you're dealing with all the elements, whereas in the studio you kind of know what you're going to get.
And lunch is put on and everything as well.
Air conditioning.
Oh, always, yeah. Even when you're out, lunch is on.
Yeah.
That's why I'm in the film work, free
that's
food.
Do you have an umbrella person? Or...
Sometimes we do, yes.
Yeah. I worked on Home and Away once, cooking.
Well, so did Inge worked on there as well.
Did you? I might have fed you there.
You
I
probably
might have made your
did.
lunch.
Like Home and Away was one of the ones this is showing how long I've been doing it for. But when Rebecca Cartwright was in Home and Away, so I was her double.
Oh, wow. I didn't realise she had that much.
She did
Oh,
stunts.
look, there was pushing and shoving and
Hang on.
She had to eat a burger once.
Yeah.
I'm the stunt double, not the food double. No, anyway. So yeah, no, geez, Home and Away and those kind of shows. God, there's like car rolls and.
I suppose,
Yeah, there's one every year, isn't it?
There's like an explosion, the finales of those shows.
That's right.
Very dramatic.
The whole season.
Yeah, exactly.
Chester's up to his old tricks again.
He's on
That's what you
He wants to be.
try and bring him in, and
Starsy.
he was meant to just sit there quietly,
He's built
but
for
he's
the
not.
camera.
He is, man. He's seen it
wants the
before.
love.
Isn't it?
He's getting the attention.
Yeah.
If you ignore him, he'll just sit there.
No, Wolf Creek. I haven't actually seen Wolf Creek.
Right.
I freaked myself out. Well, I just got to a point where I didn't want to...
Scare the shit out of yourself?
Yeah, well, I don't mind being scared, but I don't know. Like, I don't want
The
to...
negative after effect.
Yeah. Like, once I hit my 40s, I'm like, I've got to watch what I put in my head. I'm not saying it's not a bad movie, but, I go mushrooming.
Well, it did its job then, didn't it?
Yeah, it scared the shit out of me before I even got there.
Yeah.
But evidently, Adam was saying it's quite a creepy movie.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. I just wanted to know if that same intensity was around the film set as it was being made, or was it really chilled and...
No, it's definitely more chilled, and John Jarrat's actually quite a larrikin on set. So when you see him in
So he just busts
person,
out
and
of
he,
that character.
and then he can just be that. Like, to see him as he is in person, and then to be that character is chalk and cheese, and you just
freaky.
kind of.
He was amazing.
And
in
what, though?
just that laugh he has.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say. He's almost kind of a larrikin. In
He
the
is,
movie,
yeah.
but like a scary one.
But, yeah.
Yeah.
That's psychopathic.
I love
Yeah.
that laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does come across very psychopathic.
Yeah. So what stunts did you do in Wolf Creek?
So
The fight scene at the end, I'm guessing?
yeah, the fight scene had to do. So I was doubling one of the main girls and the one with the short dark hair, and she drives the truck as well and busts through the shed, and then there was a fight, and there was all like different bits and pieces and rough and tumble that we did throughout that movie. So that was shot in Adelaide.
And you were covered in blood?
Yeah, we get covered in blood and all different types of.
Yeah. And you had to go to Adelaide as well.
Yeah,
which
no.
is pretty tough. Rundle Mall.
I
wasn't
like Adelaide. Come on.
I lived down
like
in
a big
Semaphore
country
for a while.
town.
Rundle's it was all right.
I didn't mind Adelaide.
Yeah.
Got some good wineries.
It has some great wineries. It's Adelaide's set up the same as Christchurch in New Zealand. The same guy designed them. I think he got paid for one of them. Then and they said, can you design Christchurch? And they said, he just got to Adelaide and just went, bang, how about that? And they said, sweet.
It's super easy to get around down there.
Well, it's the whole
Like
grid thing,
I was
isn't
going to
it?
say.
Yeah.
But you know what? I get really confused when it's the grid. I'm better off when it's like roads
A
everywhere.
mess.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Well, you do live in Sydney, so
Yeah, that's
you're
right.
used to that mess.
Oh, it's a bloody mess. Isn't
Yeah,
it?
exactly.
Well, that's how New York's designed too.
A mess.
In grid.
Well, they-
Grids, isn't it?
Yeah, 48
Yeah.
something street, so you get to use the numbers. I think so. Well, I think like Adelaide's a square mile of city and then a square mile of parklands around that, and then the suburbs. So it's all, it's a nice way of doing it actually. So yeah, I don't mind Adelaide.
Yeah,
I'm not knocking Adelaide.
Nah,
That's
it's
all right,
good.
man.
I like
You
it.
know.
Yeah. So let's go back to Namibia,
Yep.
and I want to talk about Nathan Jones.
I don't even know Nathan
story.
Jones. Who is
I
this
just
guy?
want to, because
Your
we
man
talked about
crush.
before the show, but I think a lot of people don't
Is he
know.
really that big? Is he as big as me last week or whenever it was?
Sitting next to Mark.
Next me, come on, check that
think
out.
We'll have to-
It was the Sid Green one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Check that out.
So anyway, what I heard, because I started watching wrestling in like 2012 or something like that. It was on TV all the time, and Nathan Jones came on. I think it was WrestleMania or something, and he did just a little cameo thing and punched a few people, and everyone was going nuts because he's so big. And then that was the end of it. You never heard of him again. And then he ended up on Troy. So it would have been way before.
That would have been.
Yeah, Troy was
'cause
done
he
way
did-
before.
Yeah, it would have been way before then. Anyway, I always fuck up my dates. But anyway, I heard that he was in Melbourne, I believe.
This is after Troy. Or
No,
before. This
before.
is during his wrestling days.
Yeah, before that, I think. This is what I heard. That he had robbed a bank. Robbed a bank.
We don't want to get sued here. So.
No, well, this is all alleged.
I know
Run
nothing.
under the bus here.
I'll make sure I'll double check the facts and I'll put it below. But
Bullshit.
I'm pretty sure there's footage of him going apeshit with these cops trying to subdue him. and I heard that he got shot.
I was going to say,
and
wouldn't they
it
just shoot him?
Did nothing.
Really?
That's what I heard. And then he moved to Thailand. And then he was doing his acting from Thailand, and he hates Australia. That's what I heard.
I would too if I got shot.
By cops.
Yeah.
Well,
I thought he was Australian.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah,
Oh,
he
okay,
is.
yeah.
How true that story is, I don't know, but I know he did get up to some naughty stuff before he got into acting, and he did. Like, he was quite honest, and did tell us a couple of stories.
He seems like the coolest guy.
And he knows, he's like, I don't. He's sort of not proud of it, and it's just like that's where he was at that stage in his life, and he's turned his life around, and he sort of, I think he probably had kind of anger issues and management, and his family life was quite different and interesting, and now he's done quite well for himself.
Yeah. And he was in Melbourne, man. That would drive anyone nuts.
Yeah, that's where
I've got to pay back
so all the
Adelaide.
gangling wars are. Aren't
It
they?
is. It's a funny place. I feel like it's like 20. Everyone says how progressive it is. I feel like it's backwards, man.
In Melbourne.
When I went down there, I was like, this place feels like it's 20 years behind.
Yes, really?
In a lot of ways, yeah. I don't know where I was. Maybe I was in
the
I
city
was near
Like in the country?
No, I was in the city, but like near where the big water. Oh shit, where was it?
The ocean.
At the harbour.
There's like a harbour with
And
a
it's got
boardwalk
all
that goes
the pylons that
where is
stick out.
that?
I could not
In
Canary
Melbourne?
Wharf. That's London, man.
No, that's near the stadium.
That's St Kilda.
Yeah.
Because
No, St Kilda's like got the big Luna Park thing
I
going
don't
on.
know, man.
depends. I don't know.
was
Well,
there
I
for
found
a
it-
fight.
my brothers
I probably
lived
had
there for-
concussions and
Yeah,
shit.
there's
Yeah.
Volkanovski was fighting when I was down there.
Yeah, I wasn't at the same venue as Volker.
Okay. Oh, where you fought?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Pavilion. I
Sam
don't know where
Solomon.
we were.
Remember
I don't know.
Pavilion?
But,
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway,
It's the type of place you got to get shown around.
yeah, it's a weird.
You know.
It's just like it just seems.
So I didn't
backwards.
like it, but then mates actually showed me places, and they took me to this bar. They said, "Oh, you like this bar?" And it was down this alleyway, and there was a dude like pissing onto this rubbish bin. I'm like, "Where the fuck are you guys taking me?" And then at the back of the rubbish bin was like the Moulin Rouge.
Yeah,
Well,
right.
what the hell is this place? So it's ultra
One of
cool.
those, yeah,
It's so cool
yeah.
they don't even advertise
If you-
the places, man.
okay.
So
Yeah.
it's got its moments, but I think
Yeah.
the traffic's worse than Sydney there.
Well, we
I
took
hear.
the tram everywhere. It was
That's
Yeah.
cool.
Good.
Like that's pretty handy.
yeah.
Yeah.
Riken loved it.
Yeah.
He was just in his element. And we went to the jail there, the old jail, and they act as if they're like jailers, and
Yeah.
he's only 2.5, I think, and he's drinking a juice, and the lady's like, "Get that out of your mouth!" And like,
Did he? What
and
happened?
he's just like, you know what was going on. It was great. Yeah.
How do we get under Melbourne anyway?
Yeah, well, I've done Adelaide.
We did that.
We'll give
I like
Brisbane
Melbourne.
a go next.
Yeah.
Talking about Nathan Jones.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's
That's
right.
right.
So we're in Namibia and you're doing Mad Max, and you've been there 9 months, was it?
Yeah, it was 9 months in total.
Yeah. And
Were you guys living in town there, or did you have
Yeah.
a separate little enclave or something like that?
No, we all had our own either apartments because there were so many of us.
Yeah.
Some people had apartments, some people had little houses, some had their families over with them backwards and forwards and
Yeah.
that kind of thing. So
Is
we were
Namibia
just
like that? Is it like desert, like what it looks like?
yeah,
there?
it's pretty much it's just desert and ocean,
Oh,
and
right.
they just
yeah,
meet, and that's yeah.
Yeah.
did you have security detail there while you were there?
We,
Is it dangerous?
I think Namibia is supposed to be all right, isn't it?
Is it? I don't know.
Well, I think it's Dutch settled,
Yeah.
so it's kind of half and half.
Yeah.
Can we place it? Is it on the east or west coast?
Oh goodness, I'm not
Yeah,
good
I'm
with
gonna
my
put you on the spot
geography.
now.
Oh
I'm guessing
no!
west.
Can I Google that?
You were there, definitely.
yeah.
Oh, did you see the sunset over the water?
I think you're right. It did.
Ah,
It
okay.
was
It
over
was-
the water.
yeah, it was
Correct.
West
West.
Coast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good way of.
Up there, baby.
Yeah. Think
Yay!
about it.
Someone's got a brain.
But it was interesting because every morning, because they said it was a phenomenon of the ocean and sand together, that the fog was
Oh, wow. Yeah, yeah.
ridiculous. It was just you couldn't see every morning, so everything was damp.
Yeah, I saw a doc on. It must happen the same thing. I think it might be in Chile, and they got no water there, but they put up these huge nets and they catch the fog every morning, and it's enough to keep the towns and that going because the fog is that intense.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
How do you catch fog?
dew drops. So really fine net, dew catches in it, drops down to a little tray, and boom.
That's clever.
Shit.
Yeah.
So did they film during the most of the day then because of
so
those conditions?
Well, so sometimes we start 4 or 5 in the morning, get hair and makeup, which could take a fair while to get through.
Yeah.
And then there were a couple of weeks we were meant to shoot at night, but where we were shooting, you think desert's hot, right? But it was so cold that we had to shoot what's called day for nights. So we were shooting during the day and then they had to change
Putting
it.
filters on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Afterwards. Because even during the day, we were all just like completely frozen.
Really?
And this is when I was doubling one of the wives, and you've seen it, they're not really wearing much.
Yeah.
So,
I think she had a hat and glasses.
Well, mine just had like these like glasses and a little top and a little like undies, and that was pretty much it. So
So it was cold during the day.
In that particular location, it was.
So you guys did winter? Oh, it was a winter shoot, was it?
No, well, I mean, it went 9 months, so it was.
Of course, so it was over the whole thing.
But some of the locations were super hot, and others were freezing.
Yeah.
Just the desert for you.
What do you reckon's hotter, Namibia or Australia?
It's a different kind of heat.
Is it?
I think we have a more humidity sort of heat here,
Okay.
I would say.
So it's a bit harsher over here, you think?
I think so.
Yeah, I prefer a dry heat if I'm going to have heat.
That's like a country heat. Country heat's cool.
Yeah.
I've been out west and it's like 44, 45 and it's alright.
Yeah, but there's 9 million flies. That's what I hate.
That's true.
You can't even...
I think you get more burnt like here. Well, definitely if you're going to be out, it'd be here compared to over there.
Well, we've got
no
less
one really
ozone,
got burnt.
don't we? Apparently.
Yeah, the
Screwed up
sun's
the
different.
ozone.
Yeah.
So they say.
I think so.
But did you meet like Charlize Theron and...
Yeah, and Tom Hardy.
Yeah.
Yep.
What were they like?
They were those two are very different characters. Both like gorgeous looking people. Both
Tom
of them.
Hardy, Bane.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that guy.
Yeah, he's cool.
Yeah.
Warrior.
Yeah.
Did they chop Charlize Theron's arm off for that role?
Yeah, they did. That was
She's got a
part.
mechanical arm.
They had to. That was part of getting the role.
I'm sorry.
We're going to pay you a lot of money to chop your actual arm off.
Well, they paid a lot of money to cut her hair off, didn't they?
Yeah, she had to shave her head.
Yeah.
She shaved her head. It wasn't a wig. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and her double had to shave her head too.
Oh, lucky you went that one. I have to do that. It's hard, man.
Well, she was in Devil's Advocate the first time I seen her.
I think she was.
Yeah, Keanu Reeves, and I just fell in love with her. I was like,
she is an absolutely stunning looking woman.
And then she played Eileen in that serial
completely
killer.
Different.
Just looked like a mess. Like you couldn't even tell it was her.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Have you seen
Good
that?
actors.
God, you really did love her, didn't you?
I know the movies. But
Tom Hardy, he's played some cool roles.
I think
He's doing all right for an Aussie boy.
He did a good man, Max, I reckon. Tom Hardy's English.
Sorry, I don't know Tom Hardy. I'll just shut up.
You go on about all these 1920s movies.
I know, he knows nothing about Bane.
I know there's lots of explosions.
What about the Cray twins movie? What's that called?
Yeah, he
again?
was
brilliant. I love that movie.
Yeah, and he was. I'm trying to remember the name of it in a recent, as in like the last few years.
Capone?
No, where he played.
Was he the guy that was on the Train Spotting movie, but not Train Spotting? The guy that did Train Spotting did another one about this cross-dressing cop.
No, I don't think that.
No.
Old wall in the back. Love that shit.
Oh, it looks Batman.
I just love that Bane, that one scene, because it's, I don't know, it's motivated.
Yeah.
The darkness thing.
Have you done the Tarantino?
No, but that
You
is
could do
that
that.
is a goal of mine.
Yeah.
I would love to do it. I love Tarantino.
Yeah,
We were just talking about films and we haven't seen a good one in ages. And the last one I really loved was that Once Upon a Time.
Yeah.
And,
It was. I love all these films.
Yeah, they're
I
all
don't think
great.
I've watched
Haven't seen a
one
bad
that I
one
don't
yet.
like.
No.
but that was about your line of work, wasn't it?
Pretty much. Yeah.
And for
Do you know
me,
what's a really good kind of a bit piss take but a bit real is Entourage. Our line of work.
Oh, yeah.
Have you
Okay.
seen it? It's what they do and go through. So true.
Yeah.
But yeah.
The series?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Once a Time in Hollywood, yeah, exactly.
That's really cool. Yeah. Quirky.
And I was
All
like,
these movies
I
are.
like the way
Yeah.
I've never thought about learning your lines and how you got to sit there and repeat and repeat and repeat this bloody thing, until you get it right. And speaking of that, so you've done acting as well, though, haven't you? So we're actually in front of the camera.
I've done a little bit of like 50 worders.
Okay.
Not
Big
me.
Pond?
Not me. Yes, I did do Big Pond. Didn't have to speak in that one though, I don't think.
Yeah, no. I remember you diving.
I was diving and I ended up on billboards at the airport and all sorts of stuff. It was quite
what was
funny.
the other one that
What's that like?
out of the tree?
Oh, that
was a tampon commercial.
Yeah, pad commercial, because that's what you do. You dive off a balcony when you've got your period.
Especially when you feel that free.
Yeah, exactly.
How'd they get so was that just a CGI tree? Or?
Yeah, they CGI'd the tree. So I ended up, it was quite... giving away like little secrets here, but I start off the commercial in underwear, and then she rolls across the bed that she's in a dress, leaps off the balcony, ends up in the back of the convertible car. Yeah. So it was a pole that I had to leap off the balcony, and I wasn't on a wire, and the pole comes down, and so I'm holding onto it, lowers down, and I had to get into the back seat of this convertible.
No safety.
Kind of no safety on this one, right? And
come work with us, underground.
Yeah, exactly.
No safety.
I look back at it now and maybe like, maybe it wasn't the best thing, but
no, it turned out great though.
The ad turned out really good, but I did end up on one of the takes, a whole bunch of mishaps, and I ended up falling and landing on the back of the car.
Oh shit!
I ended up with a hematoma the size of my whole butt cheek all the way down to the back of my leg. And it was lucky because the stuff that was shot in the underwear was done first, thank goodness. And then I was in this dress because my ass just like swelled up, and it was like that for 6 months. So I just had this like uneven butt cheek. And then I had that Telstra ad 2 weeks later, and I'm lying on this little platform that pulls me through, and they're like, oh, your harnesses, you had to have a little harness strap, your harness is showing. Oh, we'll have to edit that out. And I'm like, yeah. Little did they know it was my actual butt cheek that was still swollen, and they thought it was my harness that was sticking out.
I just got a fat ass.
I was like, oh no, how embarrassing is that? But anyway, yeah.
So your jobs have been pretty back to back then. You've done a lot of movies. I've seen.
I have done a few, and when I think about it,
there's a list,
especially when they take so long, like
we could have it. I mean, I can do a job that's a day, or I can do a job that's months at a time.
Yeah.
So,
but for something like Transformers, say, are you there from start to finish?
So with that one, they shot half in America and half in the UK. So I was there for the UK part
with. Micheal Bay?
With Micheal Bay.
I don't know. I want to ask, but I won't. Because I know
you can ask, but I don't know whether I give you the answer.
No, he's pretty good.
He's full on. He's
passionate.
Passionate.
Yeah.
Yes. And he's colourful with his language.
Is he? Ooh.
Vocabulary.
He's trying. He's trying.
Trying to motivate us.
Yeah. So I remember one scene. I think the spaceship crashes, and the floor and everything goes wild. Mm-hmm. Were you on?
Yeah.
Were you one of the little tiny figures running on that?
Yeah. So there was the girl I was doubling, Laura Haddock, and the guy that was doubling, Mark.
Yep.
And so. There's this big scene where you've got the helicopters and explosions going everywhere and running through, I guess not a wasteland kind of thing, and they're running and diving, and we did this thing where it sends us off the ground, and we had to end up flying through the air, landing on our backs, and then it cuts to that scene where we're then falling down through. So there are 2 different scenes cut together. Yeah.
But did the floor actually move? Did they make that move, or was that just all green screen?
So that was green screen, and you've got like the floor kind of slopes, and it was like sliding down through that.
Was that just green?
That was just green screen. Yeah.
It's insane. Yeah, that movie's just full of wild explosions and robots.
That's Transformers for you, though,
isn't
it?
You know? Yeah. They just made the... the same movie, just made it 5 times.
Made it different times.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And it's kind of weird how I used to collect Transformers comics when I was a kid, and it was never that violent. It was always it was a kid's thing. But it's funny how those type of movies are kind of, because I'm 45 now, so they kind of try and now they rejig it for the 45-year-old kid. It's there's a strange phenomenon happening in Hollywood.
I still watch them.
Oh yeah, it's all right. Yeah, I like the explosions and stuff. That's great.
Yeah, they're doing a lot. They're doing a lot of.
Well, they do seem to have taken over the old Marvel thing.
Well, it became more like the first one was really about the cars and the Transformers and that sort of story, and then they started bringing it in and just more about different action and I think.
Yeah.
Do you think the
lost
action
its-
scenes come first and then they create a storyline around that?
Or Transforms,
Yeah.
possibly. I don't know. Because Michael Bay likes blowing shit up.
Yeah, he
blowing
does.
shit up.
So,
And the orbit, as we were talking about, the
Yeah.
hero orbit from Bad Boys, everyone
Yeah.
would have seen that when they're standing out in front of the hangar.
I haven't seen. I don't know.
What's it? Oh,
And
what's
they
it?
get
Bad
up real
Boys?
slow, and they're
Yeah,
like
yeah.
they're all squinty, and the fucking
Yes.
camera's going like the background's just going crazy.
Yeah.
Everyone's seen it.
Bad Boys 1.
And 2. And
I can't
3.
remember.
Did they do a 3?
Yeah.
I
They've
phased
just done
out
it.
after 2.
They've just done it.
Yeah.
It looks a little. They're old. It's not the same.
Did you meet Marky Mark while you were on?
Yeah.
Did
Yeah.
he just come and take your shirt off and
Oh, I wish.
all that up?
I'm kind of a Marky Mark fan. I like him.
I like him too. He's a good actor.
Yeah.
Especially for the fighter. I really like that.
That was a
movie.
good film.
good.
I like
Yeah.
that one myself. Yeah.
I don't think most of the movies I've seen him in, I like him. He just seems like a cool cat.
He started
He
his
does.
Trying to
own
work out,
burger
really.
franchise.
He did with his brothers or family.
Do you know what
Yeah.
it's called? Wahlburger or something?
Wahlburger.
Wahlburgers.
That's it.
It's got a good
Wow.
name for
It
it.
is.
Yeah.
And they're bringing it over here.
Oh,
They're
wow.
opening. They're not
So you're
saying
just
where the
gonna-
first one's
You're just going to
opening.
buy it just because it's
That.
that.
Yeah, Marky Mark.
But he has a share in F45, I'm pretty sure.
Yes, he does.
Someone needs to tell him that you need to do like posterior stuff as well. Because anyone that does that flat out I'm telling you, they all come into physios with the same injuries.
I don't know what F45
Yeah.
It's just high
workouts
intensity
are.
like circuits, 45 on 15.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's pretty it's good, interesting stuff. It looks like just
Is it
all
a-
circuits for
Okay.
45 minutes.
Franchise.
Yeah, but it's a franchise.
Yeah, franchise.
Different people own them, and
Yeah.
but I think he was an instigator in bringing it here,
Yeah.
or starting it.
He's part owner of the UFC too.
Is he?
Yeah,
He's
along with about 8 billion other people.
Yeah.
When you
He's
sell
got
something.
his finger in every
He's a
pie.
big,
Yeah, he
he's
does.
a big
You
boxing
seen the thing?
guy.
He gets
Yeah.
up at like 4 a.m. or 3 a.m.
Does his workouts and
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
it's
all
got the
do, mate.
got the funky.
We just don't have our own gym. Oh, no.
Yeah.
You want a personal.
You know, not in the house anyway.
He
Go
doesn't have
for
a
a run
ring,
around
does
the
he?
block.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he's got like because he was a big fan of like of boxing in general,
Yeah.
but because he was trying to do the Mickey Ward story for so long, the fighter.
Is it true that he lived there? He
I
had
think
Mickey
he
Ward
stayed with him.
live there for a bit?
maybe, or he went and stayed. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, but he does a good job of mimicking his style. You know, Christian Bale, man, that guy's a
Oh,
knack.
yeah.
I agree with you. He's an amazing actor.
Have you met him?
No, he's one that I'd love to meet. Whether he's a bit crazy as well, but
Yeah, he told
I believe,
someone off.
Yeah, on set one day.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's on YouTube.
yeah.
I'm going to have to link it.
I love that shit. Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty.
Yeah, but
the way he transforms himself for
Yeah,
his
for
different
sure.
roles.
Amazing.
The mechanic, was it the mechanic?
Mechanic, he
He
was
got down to
so
like
skinny.
58 kilos or something.
Oh,
Looked like he's going to die, and then he went
Yeah.
right up to 86 for Batman.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
He's just like
Yeah.
up
Actually,
and
that
down.
was like McConaughey when he went to Dallas Buyers Club.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I think we talked
We've
about
covered that, yeah.
Oh, it's just from someone that cuts weight. Like,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
just a joke. I don't know. Yeah, he
You only
talked
do it
about
for so many years. And
Oh,
the older
yeah.
you get, the harder it
You'd
gets.
be doing the same, like you'd be trying to
Yeah,
keep the
yeah,
same
yeah.
kind of.
I
Over
try
the
and
years?
keep a same, like just maintain a certain, I guess, weight and fitness, and but quite often because actresses are a little bit little petite, and we're quite often told to lose a bit of weight for the role. But the thing is we're doing a whole heap of action, and they want us to run, jump,
You need
pull
energy.
up. We
Need
need
muscle,
we need
right?
like strength
Yeah,
as well,
yeah,
and
yeah.
they don't want you to necessarily look really muscly because it
Yeah.
doesn't look right, and
Yeah.
but then you lose your ability to perform
do
properly.
your job. Yeah,
Yeah. That fine line of
Get the
being able
editors
to
to fucking work their magic.
yeah, it'd be good, wouldn't it?
That sounds very similar.
For
really.
Mad Max, we were told to look emaciated.
Okay.
Wow, really?
Yeah,
They're
yeah,
allowed to tell you that.
yeah. We were told that, and we were told it was quite funny on set. We were the stunt performers were allowed to eat in a separate location, and we were given food, whereas everyone else was allowed to help themselves to stuff, and we were given like these little meals and that kind of thing, and it was just
where's the union?
We're in Africa. There's no union over there.
That's what everyone's eating. That's not a joke. That was fucking sorry. Shit just comes out of my mouth sometimes. I didn't mean it. Don't cancel us. We're just getting started.
Yeah.
And so we've also got up there, you do yoga, you're a yoga instructor?
Yeah, so I started my own studio a couple of years ago. And
That's called Elite?
It's called Elite Performance, yeah.
Yep.
And we specialise in functional training, and we do personal training, small group sessions, the aerial yoga, anti-gravity yoga. I'm not sure if you see the hammocks.
You
yeah.
float.
And
yeah, it looks insane.
Yeah, you got 2 attachments, and there's all these different things you do in it.
You're in a harness.
Yeah. No, it's not a harness. It's
like
hammock, like a hammock.
It looks like cloth.
Yeah. So it's like silk, like circus.
The Cirque du Soleil type thing where they're floating down the cloth.
Yeah.
And all that.
So you've got with the circus, you've got the one silk, but with what we do, it's the one silk, but it's attached to twice.
Yeah. So it's a U-shape.
Exactly. So we're the only studio out in Dural that does that. But there are other studios, obviously, in Sydney that do it as well. How long has this been the thing? It's quite new. There's a guy in New York that kind of started it. Yeah. And so I went over there to train because I actually fractured my back years ago. And,
how'd you do that? There's got to be a good story to that. You can't just go, broke me back in the bathroom.
Well, I don't actually want to tell you how I did it. No, it was it was actually when I was doing gymnastics. And I was just doing like backflip after backflip, and I ended up fracturing L4, L5, and it was probably when I was about 20, 21, something like that. And I was fine after about 3 months, and then it wasn't an issue till 7 years later, till I did a big fight scene and I tweaked it a bit, and then I was in a lot of pain.
Okay.
And someone introduced me to the aerial, and I did one session. I was like, half an hour of pain-free. And then next session I did, a day of pain-free, and so on and so on. After I'd done it for about 3 months, I was pain-free with my back. And I'd been having cortisone injections and all that kind of thing, and they were like, you're too young to have that in your back at this stage. And so it's one thing that's kept me pain-free.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
So you've been doing it for a while now then?
Yeah, so I've done it now for 7 years and had it going in my studio for a few years. So I participated in it first and went, well, it's done wonders for me, and it's kept me, I think the fact that I do yoga and Pilates and that all helps me with my performance, though I try and help other people that want to, I guess, keep moving with whatever they do as well. Yeah. So I have a couple of girls that work for me, great girls, and they pick up the fort when I go away, and then I come back and try and get back into the swing of it.
Do you do Bikram yoga at all?
No. Well, I participated in it for a little bit, but I don't actually teach it.
Yeah. You don't want to go and learn how to teach it?
No,
Have you seen
I don't.
No. Holy shit.
Oh, man, I didn't
Have you seen it?
Yeah.
Oh, what the fuck is going on there?
It's,
shit, dude, why are they always so crazy, these guys?
Yeah, well, you know the story behind the whole Bikram thing.
Yeah, we do, but you can tell it because
I've done it.
It's interesting.
That's the hot yoga. I actually did hot yoga once, just before Christmas. I didn't mind it.
It's hot for everyone else, but he's there with aircon on his back.
Yelling at everyone with his little...
Hey, fat boy!
Well, I noticed that she didn't actually do it with us, but I think that's a yoga thing, isn't it? That the instructors don't do it?
No, it depends. Well, it depends what style you do. So Bikram... A lot of the Bikram studios shut down after the whole...
2018, was it?
Yeah.
And he went to Mexico.
Yeah.
And he opened that...
Evaded and...
the teaching... Because that's where he does all the raping.
Yeah. Apparently. Yeah, it was in India. Because to get qualified as a Bikram teacher, you had to go to India.
Okay.
You couldn't do it here. Yeah. You had to go over there. But a lot of the Bikram studios changed to hot yoga. Yeah. And that's the confusion now is because there are some hot vinyasa or hot flow places that do like more of a vinyasa practice. Whereas the Bikram...
vinyasa, sorry.
So it's more of a flowing sequence where you've got postures that are put together.
So you don't stop kind of thing?
No, you sort
I
of
haven't-
transition.
No.
Obviously, I haven't
So it's
done
more
Yeah,
like Tai
yeah.
Chi.
Yeah, one
transition from one to the other, whereas
It's like a kata.
Bikram was 26 postures and you hold for, what was it, 30 seconds or a minute or whatever it was.
Too
Can't remember.
long
Something
for
like
me.
that.
I was fucked. I could have just laid there under the heat.
I don't their hands go up and the sweat flies on you and
Oh,
someone else is
God,
dripping on
yeah.
your mat and I'm just like, oh, I
just
hate
loved when
someone
he
else's
said-
sweat.
He said that he won the yoga championship 5 times in a row, and then later on the chick goes, "What do you mean yoga championships?"
There is no such thing.
yoga
And then
tournament.
he
There
goes,
is.
the story about Richard Nixon rang him up and said, "You have to come and help me. I'm going to lose my leg." So he flies to Hawaii and meets Richard Nixon, and he goes, 4 days, I cured him. He rings me again and says, I don't know which leg was sore. 4 days.
That didn't happen.
There's absolutely no record of
Oh,
Bikram meeting.
Because if you're
Nixon,
going
I don't think Nixon would be ringing up for yoga.
Back in the day,
But if you're going to lie, you've got to make it a big lie. It's got to be ridiculous. Little lies
Yeah.
people can catch on. It's got to be so
Yeah.
ridiculous. You know,
I
like
think-
someone told me
I
that the
think
guy...
he actually believes it though.
I wouldn't
But
be
that's the
surprised if
secret
he
of it,
does.
though, isn't it?
He
You
probably
know,
does believe
how
in
can you
it.
sell it unless you
You have to
believe
convince
it?
yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, he was raping all the some of the
it's
teachers.
fucked.
Evidently.
Yeah.
Pretty bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking creep.
It's like Nixium. We should duck on that as well. That Nixium cult, that was in LA as well, I think.
There's a lot of
There's
cults in
always
LA, I
something
think.
there is. Let's not go
There's a
down
lot
that
of
rabbit
cults.
hole.
There's a lot of cults everywhere.
Yakult.
Yeah.
That shit's the
That's
worst.
a better one.
I hate that
Yeah.
stuff.
No, I like
Probiotics,
it.
probiotics are good for you.
Probiotics rock.
Get them
man.
into
Yeah,
you.
They
gut
are good
bacteria
for
is
you.
where it's at.
I tell you what, go take some
Gut health.
antibiotics and then you realise how important probiotics are. Because that shit makes you feel like crap.
Yeah.
Good for your sore tooth, man. I'm never getting a root canal again. That shit is bad. Sorry to get off the subject here, but I've had 3 of them. They're all fucking failed. They're all crap. Don't get a root
It's
canal.
a waste of money.
The
From
guy
what I've heard.
that invented root canal wrote books after he invented it saying you should never get one. Because what happens is, like your heart pumps blood to your brain and all that goes through your teeth first. So when you get a root canal, you've got a piece of dead enamel in there.
Oh, okay.
And so what happens, this blood goes through there to get to your brain or around there and it picks up all these bacteria. And so, like the people that have died of heart attacks, when they dissect their bloody hearts and that, they find bacteria that you only find in your teeth. And this dude actually gave he did tests where he got people that had given root canals to them, they died of breast cancer or something like that, and he'd pulled their teeth out and stuck their teeth in rabbits and stuff like that. They sewed the rabbit up, and 3 weeks later, the rabbit dies of the same cancer.
Jesus.
Wow.
Yeah. That's
So the
straight
Happy
story,
story.
So the guy that invented the
Yeah.
root canal said, "Don't do it."
Yeah, after he
Same,
did it.
So
yeah.
kind of like the COVID test.
Yeah.
Oh, no, we're going to definitely get fucking
You're going to
banged now.
bring up the COVID.
Jesus
Oh,
Christ.
no.
Don't bring
I
up
had to.
Let's get back to
God,
Bring-
I've had so many of those. At the moment when we're shooting, we have them every 3 days,
Oh,
like
yeah.
every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. We
Up the nose or
COVID.
down the back of the throat?
I've had both. They've been.
Isn't that
first
where it
they
ends
do-
up?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you started the
They
back of the
go
throat, wouldn't you?
throat, then nose, not nose, then throat.
They do it twice.
They go the throat and then the nose on the same one.
Oh, man.
Yeah, and they're some of those people are searching for something, and
Yeah.
you're just
Oh,
like
yeah.
You got a brain in there?
Yeah.
crying 'cause it's like.
So you're working at the moment, stunting at the moment.
Uh,
Is that what we call it, stunting?
stunting, yeah,
Yeah, that's great.
yeah.
Is that for murder at the museum?
No, well, that was a couple of years ago. That one,
Ah.
yeah.
Did it end up being released or?
That was a student film I was helping out with that I choreographed some fight scenes for.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just seen like a little interview and you were in that. That's all.
Yeah.
So I thought, oh, there's a movie
There's
that
a big-
didn't come out, didn't make it.
No, it came out and then they took it to some film festivals, and I don't actually know what ended up happening to the film festivals, whether it made it or I guess it didn't make it that far, but it was a fun little job to work on.
Oh, sweet.
Great people, yeah.
If we jump back to acting for a second, because we touched on the funny little scenarios with the swollen butt and
Oh yeah.
whatnot. What? Did you get into anything else after that, or was it like more of, I enjoy the stunts more, this is paying better, your career kind of flows that way, or is it something you like chose to
I
imagine it'd be a hard thing to really nail.
Yeah, the acting and the stunts are quite different.
Yeah.
It is quite a different form, I suppose, art form. But now, as I'm getting a bit older, I'd be quite happy to take some acting roles on and have a stunt double myself. I'd be like, yeah, no, you can do the car knockdown. It's fine. No dramas. I'm fine with that. But I enjoy the acting as well. It's quite challenging, but it is really different, obviously. But the stunts, I've done it for so long that, yeah.
Talking of the car knockdown, Great Gatsby.
Yep, Great Gatsby. There was a big car knockdown. So I was doubling Kerry Mulligan in that one, Daisy. And so I was the one driving the car, and then there was another doubling the other girl. Yeah. But that was done in a couple of different parts. So we had, and that was a bit green screen, a bit real, kind of all mixed. So it was a set outside. But the car was kind of like 3D printed or whatever, the front of it, just a little bit of a to do it. And she was on a wire, and the way we had to time it and that kind of thing, it sort of came out pretty crazy.
So
I think
filmed
it
in
looked
Sydney?
amazing.
That
yeah,
scene?
yeah. The whole Great Gatsby was filmed in Sydney.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's got a weird look to it, doesn't it? It's not... I don't know.
Well, it's got his vibe to it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, it's
Baz.
meant to be New York. Baz Luhrmann,
Yeah,
I mean,
he's got his way
he's
of doing things.
artistic. So he shoots so differently. So we'd shoot some scenes where they would literally run for... Like, you might shoot a scene and it's 30 seconds or a couple of minutes or something like that. He would roll the camera, like these big party scenes that you see, and he would roll them, and 20 minutes later he'd finally call cut, and we'd just be like having to party and do stuff, and yeah. It was like
So you would
17
be
hours later.
extra as well?
I haven't done extra work, no.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thought they'd just go, use them.
Sometimes they're like, oh, well, you're here. Can you just stand in? It's like... Yeah, sure.
Yeah. How does that work? Is it contract work? So per movie you get paid, or is it per scene?
Per movie or per day. Yeah. So you usually have different rates for TV and film and stuff. So
they're award rates.
They're award rates, and then it's also get negotiated as to what you do, and then depending on how dangerous the stunt that you do is, as to whether you get extra loadings for that.
Yeah.
Have you ever said no to a stunt? Like,
I have.
What was it?
Yeah. Oh, geez, I can't remember off the top of my head.
Okay.
But there are times where I'm like, I'll try and find out now. Initially, when I started, I'm like, I'll do it.
Yep.
And now I'm like, what am I doing? How much am I getting paid? And is it worth it? Is it worth it? Yeah. But no, I guess I've learnt that it's okay to say no. That you're not going to lose work if you do say no.
Well, that's now because you're at a certain level, aren't you?
Yeah.
People can trust your work, whereas if you're a young stunt...
You just say yes to it. You're like,
yes,
I can do it. And you kind of think, oh, shit, what have I said yes to? Yeah. And you like get there and you're shitting your pants and like, oh, God, am I going to be able to do this?
Just lasso that shark.
Lasers on its head.
We'll just pour some blood in the water.
That's right. You'll be right.
You'll be fine. You've got a safety diver in there.
We'll just stay in the boat.
Yeah.
Give us a yell when you're done.
Exactly.
It'd just be like learning your value after time, I guess.
Yeah. And it's that kind of, you do scare. Well, no, if you're too scared to, but you just think that if you say no, you won't get another job again. But it doesn't work like that.
It used to be like that with fights. Like it's like any opportunity, like, yeah. And then like you think about it, like fuck that shit.
Why am I fighting that guy?
Yeah, that's crap. Like,
it's even at work now, like underground. A lot of guys, they're new in the industry and they think, fuck, if we don't do it, we'll get sacked.
Yeah.
Like, get sacked, it's better.
Well, that's where solidarity comes in.
To do that, like the shit they are sometimes.
I feel like Willie's going through a transition there.
He's
going to get out. He's talking
there
about
might be a
this
theme for every single
I feel
one.
like there is.
Each session there's
a
reference.
I think you need to get out of it.
It's getting worse and worse.
It is.
Especially if you watch the last one, I wouldn't itch.
Yeah, you really went off on that one.
Yeah. No, Mitch.
Yeah.
11 years doing the same job and his boss goes.
With Mitch,
Cool.
Almost as bad as me.
I just wish there was long service leave in stunts, but there's not. I'd be up to almost 20 years because every job is a different company.
Yeah. So you're a sole trader basically, aren't you? And you're selling yourself, your labour.
Yeah. Self-employed. Freelance basically.
So you never quite know where the next check's coming, eh?
Nope. It's like this.
But you get used to
Up
it.
and down. Yeah.
It's
been like as a dancer and then into stunts. And my dad was, when I said I'm going to go and be a dancer. He's like, no, you're not. And I'm like, yes, I am. And then
You said, no, you're not.
Yeah, because he's very old school. He's very black and white, old school.
You're going to work the farm.
You're going to, no, he wanted me to be a PE teacher.
Oh, no, the lowest of the lows.
Oh, man.
Sorry, I didn't mean that to you. Nothing's wrong with PE.
They're always the coolest teachers.
PE teachers, the short shorts, and they don't wipe their penis properly.
Well, I don't have one of those. So.
What school did you go to?
One of those Sunday schools.
You know what I mean.
No, I don't.
You would have been a good one, I'm
We
sure.
had girls.
Did you?
We got one sacked.
Did you?
Yeah, we were little instigators and we just pushed him. One day.
And he lost it.
He lost it. He slammed one of my friends behind the door. We were holding the door shut. He got it. He got us all out the way. We were probably 14 at the time. 6 of us or so.
Yeah.
Saw him there and then took a look around and went again. Boom, and just slammed this kid between a door and a wall twice. He was gone.
He was gone ski.
I can't remember his name.
They probably just moved him out west or something.
Yeah.
It's hard to get fired.
Just like they do with the priests.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's just
my
the
God.
next town over.
Cut so much to the south. I remember
Nothing gets cut. It's all raw.
Teacher stories. We had these desks, and Dion Field, he kept on lifting his desk up, so he was a real person. And we used to have these before whiteboards. There was like blackboards, and they had a big duster,
yeah.
a duster, and there was like a big bit of wood with a bit of cloth on it.
Yeah.
And the teacher, Miss Bishop, she was big, man, and she had a good arm on her, and she just biffed it at his desk because he had his lid up, and then he dropped the desk as soon as she biffed it, went straight in his head and just knocked him out cold, man. It was great. Just boom, gone. Yeah. Anyway, don't bring up teachers.
Wrong.
So she's gone from school teacher.
So Dad didn't want
the opposite.
Yeah. Well, he's like, you get 3 months a year off and pay and all that kind of thing. And then
understandable. We just wanted a stable life, I suppose.
Yeah. I came back and I said, I'm going to be a stunt woman. And he's like, no, you're not. You're going to get a real job. You're going to get a real job. And I don't think it was till maybe even a couple of years ago where it goes, well, I suppose you're all right then.
Yeah, you made a life out of it.
Mad Max and Transformers, they're pretty big movies. You've done all right.
Yeah.
Finally got to know you.
Finally
finally
accepted that, maybe I'm not so black and white.
Yeah. No, I don't know much about modern dance. Well, I did. So this might go nowhere, but I showed a modern dance movie to my kids and they loved it. And it was, I think she was a Polish dance instructor, Pena, or do you know her? RENA or something like that? No. We'll cut that out because that was crap.
No, it's staying in there.
Is it? Oh,
It's gone nowhere now.
Anyway, I really like modern dance. People freak out on it and they think, what is this? But shit, it's wild, man.
Like, have you seen anything by the Sydney Dance Company or Graham Murphy or like that kind of style?
I think so. I've watched some stuff on ABC. You guys probably didn't.
I just watch.
You don't watch ABC.
That's as modern as it
Yeah,
comes.
we can't wait to see it.
Mark's dance. It's pretty modern.
It's wild.
No drugs.
No drugs.
Just
You don't
flat
need
out.
I don't. I'm
Just need the
mental
rhythm.
anyway. Injuries. Oh my God, you must have a bit of a
You
list.
got the broken back already.
Yeah.
Is that the worst one that you'd say you've had?
I think probably the broken shoulder. As the back thing kind of doesn't really bother me so much anymore, but I've had my shoulder, I think I've had something like 10 or 11 or 13, I can't remember off the top of my head now, but surgeries over the last, it's like
annoying.
equaled out to like one every 2 years or something.
God.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Is that tendons in your shoulder? And they reattached
Yeah,
them or something?
so I did this big, what's called a jerk back, and I was flying through the air. It was about 10 metre fly through the air and then get dragged along the ground. And so I dislocated the shoulder, or the bone, and the bone then cut the rotator cuff, and then I tore the cartilage and chipped the bone.
That's not cool.
So 3 surgeries later.
Wow.
So was that in the studio or was that behind a car
No,
or
that
something
was
like
that was on a location outside on a location.
And so it wasn't grass or anything? It was...
No, because where it happens, it's like gravel road and.
So what whipped you back?
So I was in a harness,
Yeah.
and
So a bit of like a bungee cord or something like that?
yeah, so we call it Dynex. So it was on a little bit of a line. So the line was set up and you kind of hang hanging off it, and there was a couple of guys that pull it, and then you go through the air and land and get dragged. And so I had to do that about 6 times, and by the 6th one I was like, yeah, it's starting to feel it now. By the 8th one I went, I don't think I can do another one. I was like, can we, like, we got it? Are we okay here? And then walk away. I'm like, can't lift my arm. So,
do you get like in terms of health insurance and stuff, do you have to have your own policies, or does that get covered in the contract?
So, yeah, I mean, I have my own, but also when you're working on a film, you're getting covered as well. So, I mean, if someone even just trips over on set, they should be covered by workers' compensation. True. But, yeah, we do. But insurance is expensive for stunt performers.
Yeah, I imagine it would.
Imagine it would be.
And I have my private health insurance and all that kind of thing up to date. Yeah. So, yeah.
Cool.
How do you go about training someone up? Have you done that before, or?
Yeah, so we train. So it might be one of the actresses that we work with, or actors that we work with, and we might have to train them to do the fight scene or to get them fit for the role, like on Mortal. Which one? Yeah. Mortal Engines. Sorry, Mortal Kombat. I just worked on as well. Which
I was going to ask you about that. That's coming.
That's coming. Yeah. So we were working in the studio before we started shooting, and with fitness and fighting and that kind of stuff, and with sword work and weapon type work. So
you do sword work in that as well.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, so we do train them up, and sometimes we're sent off with them to do something specific, or sometimes we have a couple of weeks with them before we start doing what we do. Yeah. And sometimes some of the actors want you to even do just, Pilates and fitness work with them. Yeah. And sometimes it's specific to what the role requires.
So when you get the contract, they say you're going to work on this movie, this is how much you get paid, and you just do whatever on that movie. So if the actor wants you to do Pilates,
you can do some of them. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do they like to work with usually?
Some are awesome. Some are really nice, and some are a little precious. Yeah. But in general,
like the mega stars, like
not like some mega stars are great, and others,
just assholes.
I'm
joking. We're not throwing you under the bus again.
No, more just they've got a job to do and a role to do, and you can understand that's what they're. And that's they might get involved in the character and all that kind of thing, so they need to do what they need to do.
I've never seen anyone more involved in a character than I remember Jim Carrey when he did that Jim and Andy.
That was a bit mental, wasn't it?
Andy Cough.
Man on the Moon, was it? Or something?
I don't know.
No, but he ended up turning into him, didn't he?
Yeah, he just took him on.
That's why he's so
playing
fucked
a
up now.
comedian. He was like, nah, man, he's alright.
Well, not fucked up, but he did have that big long depression.
Yeah, well, he's just finding himself, I think. And I think he got confused with the reality of what he was doing and his ego. He went on that search. Who am I? What is my ego? I've just been on that search. So
how did that turn out for you?
Pretty good, actually. I'm definitely better for it.
Yeah, that's great. Don't want to look too closely. No. The closer you look at something, the more confused it gets.
That's what I realised.
Perspective,
Yeah.
The more you look, the more you want to keep looking.
Yeah.
So what did you do on Mortal Kombat?
Mortal Kombat, I was doing doubling one of the characters, obviously.
And that's not out yet?
No. I thought it was coming out. It'll be out soon.
Yeah, I remember the hype for it.
Yeah.
And then it just
I don't know if it's the COVID thing that's pushed a lot of movies back, obviously, because you can't go to the cinema.
Minions 4. I'm still waiting for that.
I'm still waiting for the next Bond film that's been pushed back.
Yeah.
Is there another one?
Yeah.
I think
the latest Daniel Craig one. They were saying they've got to push it back even more because the product placement is too old now.
Oh my god!
So the Amiga watches, and they're 2 years old, and the phones and things. So
I like Daniel Craig as Bond.
He's cool. I think he does it well.
If Bond was a real guy, he'd probably be like him.
Pretty close.
I'm going to be the opposite, the odd one out. His love scenes are shit. Like, come on. Bond is supposed to drink cocktails and be all fucking
Sean Connery,
grossly, like big moustache or whatever. And he's a good action hero, but for me, he's not a Bond. Bond's got to have that bit of cheesiness to him. The ladies love him.
I like the whole kind of rough Bond look
It's-
of him.
Yeah,
I
that's what
understand
I
it.
mean,
It's
yeah.
definitely what they did with Batman and all that as well. I understand where it's going. I know what people like. But for me, no, it's got to be Sean Connery. Actually, it's not. It's Roger Moore. I grew up in the Roger Moore era and all that. And it had a bit of tongue-in-cheek.
Yep.
And I think all these movies, Batman included in that, which is the worst one, really, because the guy running around in his undies pretending he's a bat.
Yeah, he doesn't kill anyone.
Yeah, but he's just all angry and all that. I'm like, hold up. I like the 1960s Adam West one where he's just boom, pow, and
And
everything-
shagging everyone behind the
Yeah,
scenes.
like, everything's just gotten so fucking heavy now. It's like, come on, with this life is heavy enough. I think the arts need to lighten up a little bit, you know.
Yeah, you might be right.
Where is she?
You stole my undies.
Batman.
Anyway, the odd one out, that's me. Haley loves Daniel Craig, I'm sure. He's very good. I do like him as an actor.
He's got
Yeah.
that like
Roger Moore
that-
is my
those eyes
second
that he
favourite.
does.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And old Sean just passed away as well.
Did he?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Not too long ago now.
Yeah. Doesn't seem to matter so much when you're pushing 90 now, I suppose.
Yeah, you've
Nah,
had
I
a good
think it's
run.
like that's a real good run. Anywhere over 90.
Yeah.
Or mine live until like 100, 110. Maybe.
I think 120 healthy, but I'm sure when I get there, I'll want to live more. You know, it's about the health, isn't
Depends on the quality.
Depends if
doesn't
your
it?
mind's
what's
with
going
you,
on in
your
the
mind
world
and your
too.
body.
Yeah.
it? Yeah.
If you're with it or not.
But if your mind goes, you won't know anyway. will you?
Yeah,
So you don't give a
that's
shit.
true.
We could all be in an old people's home right now imagining this shit. That's what freaks me.
There's a
Figment
good
of your
chance. There's a
imagination.
good chance.
Did you have some mushrooms before? beforehand?
No.
So were you a fan of like Mortal Kombat growing up? Because it was really popular.
You're more a Street Fighter girl.
I thought, because you know how Kylie Minogue did one of the...
Yeah, she
this
did
is,
Street
this
Fighter,
is
Chun-Li.
super embarrassing
Yeah,
for
yeah.
me to say this. She did Street Fighter. So when we rocked up, I went, oh, didn't Kylie Minogue do the last one? And they're like, no, that was Street Fighter. I was like, right, I should have done my research before coming on to this one. I was
I
like,
said the same thing. We were
okay.
going to watch Mortal Kombat. Haley wanted to watch it for some reason. And I said, oh.
Van Damme.
Yeah, the Van Damme one. He does the
Yes,
splits.
yes.
It's amazing.
Yes. So
Yeah,
no,
he's,
I'm more Street Fighter.
He
Yeah,
plays-
I'm a Street Fighter.
I think he plays
Yeah.
Ken in that, doesn't he? Is he
I
Ken?
think
Or Guile?
They did, it wasn't very good, man. For
No,
someone
it's
that grew up
terrible.
with Street
Yeah.
Fighter, I loved that video.
That was
Yeah.
the best, man.
Yeah.
I pissed myself playing Street Fighter in the video shop next door to Ash Pizza Shop at like 7
Because you
years
wouldn't
old.
go.
I didn't think you could leave it because I was still winning. I was like, oh no, if I go, like I'm gonna get in trouble for leaving the money. Just weed everywhere. It was so bad.
Thanks for
But the
that.
video shop people were so nice. They kept my credits on the machine for the next day when I came back in clean shorts.
Oh, my God.
Did you get to Sagat? Is it Sagat?
Oh, I can't
at the
remember,
end?
man.
Who were you playing? I used to play Chun-Li,
I used
actually.
to
She was the
love,
best. She had the fastest
I
kicks,
loved
man.
Ken, man.
Oh.
I'm Ryu. Is
Ken,
it
they
Ryu?
were
Ken,
basically the
right.
same person.
Yeah, they
though,
were.
weren't
I just liked it.
Different
He had
hairs.
blonde hair and a red suit.
Yeah.
No, Dal Sim, that hyper uppercut shit, man. In fact, if I was going to open a bar, it'd be called Hyper Uppercut. That should be a good name for you.
Good name for a band, actually.
Hyper, yeah. Hyper uppercut. Love that shit.
Where's this going?
I don't know.
I don't know. You started with Mortal Kombat.
What's in that? Is that,
I've no-
is
I
that
don't
some
know.
of that old spiked wine? Or
No, this is right. This is a Fat Cat and Rossa Shiraz. I'm going off the alcohol in February because it's the shortest month.
okay,
So I've decided to drink shitloads before I get there.
yeah, right. That makes sense.
Fair enough.
I could die before you get there.
It's not too long away. Nah, not that much, I think. But it's nice. Good wine.
Yeah.
Fat Cat Shiraz.
So Chester's done some modelling work.
He has.
Chester
yeah,
the
he's
dog.
done some Chester the dog, my assistant's dog. No, that's what I say he is. So I take him everywhere. No, he's my assistant's dog. Can't you see that? Like, no. Yeah, he's done a couple of commercials. He's a bit more precious than I am, you know. Wants the lamb chops for dinner and the green room and yeah. No,
Sleeps on the big
that?
bed.
he does. Yeah, he's an on the bed
He's
type
cool.
of dog.
He's a nice dog.
Yeah, you tuck it out now.
So now he's behaving himself.
So you can check him out on Supercoat commercials.
Yeah.
What else?
In your nearest Woolworths.
Yeah, there you go. What's the
Is he actually on the
pedigree?
packet?
Yeah.
Oh shit,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah,
I was
I'm not
trying to
shitting
tell
you.
Yeah. He's big
I thought it was
time.
just on the film.
You have to get his paw print before we go.
Yeah, get him to sign. Yeah,
Does he get royalties?
I wish.
No, just one off.
It was just the one. Yeah, just the one off, and they don't pay that much for pets.
Yeah.
Well, they can get it. Yeah, they'd just be like, we can get it.
We can get
Yeah,
any.
yeah.
Yeah. I was a bit, it's not that high paying, but it's a bit of fun.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Good for them.
Good for them and fun for us.
So they knew they wanted a Kelpie.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Yeah.
And Kelpies, they're pretty, not high maintenance, but they like a lot of exercise. They're sheepdogs, aren't they?
Yeah, they're sort of working dogs, dogs. So up until the age of 3, he was an absolute maniac. Yeah. And I got to that point, I was like, I cannot deal with this dog anymore. I'd come home and he'd make my house look like it had been snowing inside and out. He tore pillows apart, cushions apart, shoes. He was just, I was like, oh God, here we go again. And then 3, he just kind of chilled out.
Cool.
So,
Got it out of your system?
Yeah, he jumped, when he was 6 months old, he jumped the fence, 6-foot high fence, and started chasing the neighbour's sheep around. And I was like,
oh, no.
They were okay with it, but I was like, no.
I think dogs need that, don't they? They need
especially a Kelpie.
to settle in, though.
Something.
We got a rescue dog. She was a pit bull cross staffy. It said Kelpie on the first.
No.
They kill pit bulls, don't they?
But she was
pit bulls are illegal. Yeah, I think they're illegal. Yeah.
Like, she won me over actually because I came home early for night shift, and here's this dog in the bloody laundry. I'm like, what the fuck's going on here? Let her out, and I'm like, did you have to go to the toilet kind of thing? And I laid on the lounge, and she come up and just laid on top of me, and I'm like, I can't get rid of this dog. But she was like 120 days, I reckon, just floating around. But
at the
shelters, and I don't know, someone must have thrown her out real early.
Yeah,
because she, they didn't know much about it.
I think they're changing the laws now for rentals that they can't refuse you if you got a dog. Because that was the reason. Because if you're renting a place, you have a dog, you move somewhere else, that's it. You're not allowed a dog. And they'll boot you out if they found a dog there. Yeah. But I think they're changing the laws.
It is slowly changing.
Yeah, well, they have to because now everyone's stuck renting because house prices are just bullshit. So the renters need to unionise and say, look, we need some rights.
The union again.
We love the union here.
Look, I was with your puppy there, your dog. I didn't want my kids to see it because our puppy just passed away, and they've been hassling me for another dog, and she was just the worst dog I've ever had. And she did win me over, but it was like the same thing. She was just got to 2.5 years. And we even paid for a dog whisperer and all this. Like she was,
really?
These glasses, like $500, and she went through 3 pairs of them, man. And if you came over your glasses, she'd chew them. Like she was the worst puppy.
A dog whisperer.
Yeah, Haley got one.
What's Caesar Milan?
I don't know.
Have you not seen Caesar Milan?
It's like a dog trainer.
Yeah.
Well, it is clever. Like you never let a dog walk out the room in front of you. So they really put her in her place because she thought she owned the place, and he goes, nah. The dog's going out, and she'd always push forward and say, slam the door in her face, man. Boom, like that.
Jeez.
And then do it 3 times, and then she'll sit down and wait for you to go.
Doesn't sound like much whispering to me.
No, it wasn't fucking whispering. Actually, back in the day, I've got my first dog. I got a book from the library, and it's how they train Lassie and all that. That was brutal, man, back in Hollywood days in the 1950s. And they said, okay, stop your dog from chasing things, looking after you. You get a rope or a chain around its neck and make it just long enough to get to the gate. But it stops there, stake it in the ground, and then get your neighbour's cat run past. Get the dog to go for it. And that was how they trained all those Hollywood dogs, man. They just brutalised them,
Yeah, you can imagine, eh? They would have been beating the shit out of
them, man. And it doesn't work. It's not the way to train your dog, actually. No. If you want to get them to really do it, you just...
Get a dog whisperer.
Get a dog whisperer.
Slam the door in its face.
It was a slam. It was like, you're not getting
Give it a whack here or there.
Yeah. But then just after she came right, she bloody got the big C got her. So, and that was enough, man. I don't think I could cry. And it was like, because my other dog died like 3 years before that, and I'd had her for 16 years.
But she was immortal. That thing was eating bloody rat sack and everything.
She was amazing.
Yeah,
she just ate anything. One time I got like 5 big cans or whatever of dog food to see how much this fucking thing could eat. And it just kept on eating. It was like a Roman. Then she'd vomit and she'd get back into it.
She didn't re-eat the vomit again?
They did, don't they?
Well, the last one just ate the cat shit. So it's a bit of a bummer now because I've got to pick the cat poo up.
My dad's dog eats cat food.
Yeah, it's pate. Some people have that in their coffee,
Oh,
yeah, cat shit coffee.
Yeah, cat shit coffee.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Some Amazon thing, isn't it?
I think it's like a lemur or it's something from Indonesia or something.
Oh, is it? Yeah.
Yeah, and
it's
coffee
a
passes
big
through
cat
it.
or something that they,
I have seen in Japan a chef making up dirt dishes. People are eating dirt.
Topsoil.
God.
Yeah, just like he's making up these.
Magnesium.
It's fucking dirt, and they're paying like a lot of money for dirt. And they're going, yeah, I really like that last one.
And we just got access to too many things. We're too comfortable. People are off.
Well, I think it's that consumerism thing.
It is.
Beforehand, I was watching a guy today talking about consumerism. You don't even think it's a thing. But it is. It's a way of life that we're going to have more and more. And that's why products are getting more and more ridiculous. Because not everyone, a lot of people are doing it tough, but most people kind of have enough stuff in Australia. And so they've got to give you some more ridiculous shit. You think, I might try that. Whereas back in the day, maybe other things were more important.
Yeah.
I don't know,
Like
playing guitar or something. Relationships. Going for a walk with your kids and
stuff
stuff.
that you can do, not just buy.
Yeah.
So you have a horse.
Just sit on a screen.
Yeah.
Oh,
The
doesn't that
dopamine
chew everything?
addiction.
Let alone when VR comes in.
Yeah.
People think they're doing something. That's
Well,
not.
you're swiping.
You know what I hate those
Scrolling.
and people put these political things up and say, yes or no, as if that makes any difference to the people that make the decisions. Get out in the streets or do something if you want to change something.
Hold a
Goodness.
protest.
Yeah, Facebook is not the place to do that shit.
So you've got a horse back.
I do.
Back to the
Is that at your
subject.
dad's?
At my dad's, yep.
And you
Keep my
go
pony
visit?
there. Yeah. No, I'm out there a couple times a week, 4 or 5 times a week. So got back into horse riding, I suppose, about 5-6 years ago. And
Like competing or?
yeah, competing.
wow.
So I got some ex-race horses and retrained them, and I've just got the one now because I had 3 for a while and it was just too
Lot
much.
of work.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
like, I can't do all of this, so I have one. And little Desi and compete him now, and yeah.
As in
so,
jumping?
Equestrian.
Eventing.
Venting.
Yeah. So eventing is the all 3. It's got the dressage, show jumping, and cross country in it. And cross country is my favourite part of it. So, yeah.
Cool.
What's
Hunting those
the
foxes.
dressage?
So dressage is you've got that big arena, sand arena or grass arena, and you pretty much do like circles and loops, and you're looking pretty as you're doing all these different things, prancing around. Yeah,
that's
exactly,
great.
right?
You'd be good at that.
Yeah.
So,
I'd be great at that.
it's
Doesn't
all
even need
about
a horse.
it's all about how you look.
Hey, where's your horse?
Yeah.
Hey?
Now, have you seen those like clips on YouTube and stuff where people run around pretending they are
Yeah, I
horses
have.
and stuff? Yeah,
I have.
There's some that are a bit
there's
weird.
quite-
Like there's some.
I
that
haven't
are
seen it.
quite-
It's
Disturbing.
like there's people with bits in their mouth.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I'm not even going to go there.
I
but-
love people. They're great.
I've seen one guy that thought he was a snake. There was one guy that thought he was a snake as well.
Was he walking or sliding
No,
around?
he's like laying on the ground.
And the dressage thing?
No.
No,
Oh, no.
he wasn't in competition.
So what's the snake doing here? It's supposed to be horses.
He's there trying to bite him.
Freaking the horses out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Isn't that where they get anti-venom from for rattlesnakes?
Yeah,
horses?
it's from
Is that
horses.
true? Do you know? does
Yeah,
anyone
yeah.
know?
I didn't
yeah,
know
it is.
that.
Yeah, that's from
Actually.
spider bites and everything. So the horses create the antivenom.
Yeah.
They pull the blood out of the horses. I don't think they kill them either. I think they
No,
suck
don't.
the blood out of them. But the funnel webs, the most dangerous spider in the world.
Yep.
It's only dangerous for insects and us. If it bites our puppy hair, the dog's fine, man.
Fuck.
Yeah, right. They're the most deadly thing to us.
They are.
Yeah.
They
Are
scared,
they?
First aid, mate, the other week, it scared the shit out of me.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think
You don't want to go
actually-
outside.
But I don't know how big they are. I keep mistaking this other black spider that looks like them. I don't know if that's
They get
fun
quite
or
angry,
not.
I think, don't they?
They rear up like
they
that
rear
and
up
got those
a
two
bit.
big
Yeah.
But don't
So the
the
size
female
of it-
ones are bigger,
Yeah.
and the male ones
Just don't go
look
swimming.
different.
They're in pools
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This
Watch your
afternoon
shoes.
I had one crawl in my... I don't think it was one. I thought it was one. I was having a heart attack. Because I've been paranoid about them crawling in my gym bag. Like, I've opened the bag and I'm like, there's a funnel web! Get away, kids!
Burn the house.
Yeah. It's your job as a dad to kill those bloody spiders.
It's like, you'll thank me later, guys.
Yeah.
It's alright.
I never kill huntsmen. I
I kill
don't mind
everything
them.
now. Man, I got girls
Yeah,
running around. I'm
that's
just
it.
like, it's either you, me, or them.
Yeah.
You're losing
They're big
this
though,
battle.
the huntsmen.
They
Yeah.
are.
But they're
Oh,
not.
They
They don't do it.
No,
Unless you
they're
put them in
harmless.
your mouth. And who does that apart
We
from
just
that?
have so
for-
many spiders though.
Yeah.
Spiders are going off at the moment. There's shitloads of
thrived.
spiders.
You
out,
should
man.
go. You know that Fitzroy fucking
Falls.
train thing I stayed
Oh,
in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The fucking spiders down there. Holy shit. So my dad goes, just go down there. There's a really good view of the whole valley. And so me and Ryken walked down there. And every 2 steps is a spider web. So I've got a stick and I'm like, fucking...
Yeah.
I go, what's going on here? That night, we're in bed and we, like, just see this thing crawling out of the corner of my eye and I'm on the top bunk, Riken's down the bottom. I'm this far from the roof. And I'm like, fuck. So, massive. It was just a huntsman, but I'm thinking, like, if it jumps on him...
They do jump.
Dude.
Yeah, they freak out.
Like, who's not going to... It's right there next to your face.
Yeah, no...
Well, have you ever had it when you're driving and it just, like, crawls across the
Oh,
inside?
yeah, I've almost crashed so many times with that.
So I'll go get the broom and I'll, like, go to get it and I nearly put a hole in the roof and the thing jumped
Yeah.
and landed on the ground and took off. I'm like, fuck.
It's Rockin's problem now.
So I thought, all right, I can't see it. I think it's gone. Whatever. Get back into bed.
It comes
about
back.
10 minutes
I know
later...
where this is coming. Sounds like a movie. We need to pitch this.
I'm sitting on my phone, just looking at my phone.
Snakes on a train.
And I look up, you know, like the illumination from your phone lights up the roof and the fucker's like right there.
Oh, man.
So I like try and get it with my hand, miss it,
Oh, no.
takes off, and I'm like, fuck.
He's coming back.
So I ended up in Riken's
Coming
bed.
back to-
I was in his bed. And then the next day it was out in the open and I squashed it and I felt so good.
Did you?
Yeah, because it kept me up all bloody night.
Yeah. They're fast as well, man. They move.
Oh,
They
but
move
he's
out.
he's petrified of them. But only lately.
But do you think that's got anything to do with
Yeah,
it?
his
yeah,
dad
you
throwing
freaking
him
out.
on him.
Yeah.
If Dad is alright with it.
He landed on him while he's asleep.
So that was the first night. The next night, there's a couple more.
Yeah.
But I got them once.
Yeah, coming from New Zealand,
spiders
hearing
everywhere.
about Australia, you think they're everywhere and everything's trying to kill you.
Well, they are, but
But they're not really.
Yeah,
you don't
they-
really see them.
They don't want
no, you
to,
don't.
yeah.
That, you know, just don't want anything
Well,
to
they
do
do
with you,
say
really.
you're always 8 metres away from one
From a...
spider. That's how
yeah.
many they reckon there are.
Well, I always used to hate spiders. They used to freak me out coming from New Zealand because we don't really have anything like that. Until I saw a documentary on wasps. And what wasps do to spiders just makes you feel sad for the spiders, you know, like that. Fucking wasp are the nasty thing, man. They lay their larvae in the spider and then it eats it from the inside out. So ever since I saw that, I was kind of alright with spiders. Well, you poor buggers.
Except for the white tip.
Is that a real thing?
It is.
Is it?
Yeah, I've known people who've been bitten by one.
Yeah, but I jumped on Wikipedia and it says it's not.
Wikipedia is not a...
I know, I'm the last one to
factual.
Trust Wikipedia.
I'm the last one. Yeah, to trust Wikipedia. I don't know why I said that.
You're a fucking giant on there.
Yeah.
It's got Matthew Sinclair, giant.
Does it?
Really?
Does
It
that.
could. Because you could go on there and change whatever you want.
Yeah, you can, can't you?
But you got to know a bit of coding or something, don't you? I don't think.
I
I
don't
think you
think
can
so.
go in there and change it quite easily.
No, Matt Sinclair, he was a Kiwi cricketer and he got 200 on debut, so I'm fucked. I'm never going to get any.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it covers me.
So what?
Anyway, there was an
Let's get to
interview
a
going.
fucking spider tangent. It was like, I'm
You get creeped out.
We need to get back to the combo. So what's the plans? Like, how long do you think you can keep up stunting for? And what do you think the next phase of life will hold? Or can you do it?
You can do it as long as your body holds up.
Yeah.
And I think as long as you can do the stunt and you're fit and healthy and as long as you can keep doing it for. But my goal now is to become a stunt coordinator. Awesome. I would like to be a stunt coordinator. I kind of, a couple of years ago, I was sort of at a point where I was like, well, I suppose some life changes and those kind of things. And it wasn't on my list of things that I wanted to do. And then I was like, actually, maybe I do want to do it. And we don't have any female stunt coordinators here in Australia.
Not one.
So, not one.
Oh, that's
Change that.
ridiculous.
There is in America or in New Zealand but not in Australia. Okay. So in the last couple of years, as I was saying before, you know, there's this process of going through, and to become a coordinator, you have to go through a process as well. And so I'm at a level now where I'm actually an assistant coordinator.
Nice.
So the next level is stunt coordinator. So I'm currently working as an assistant coordinator on stuff as well. So I'm doing a little bit. I love my performing. I'm always going to love it. I've done it since I was a kid, and I want to keep doing it.
Yeah.
But now I want to get more into behind the scenes, as opposed to just in front of the camera as well. So And I think now we have, a couple of years ago, there's just myself and another girl that got graded as females. We were the first 2 female assistant coordinators in Australia. And I guess in the last couple of years, it's been, there's now, I think, 6 female assistant coordinators, or 5 of us now. So we're on the hunt next becoming a coordinator.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's what my kind of pathway and goal is.
Cool.
Is there much of a history of stunt people? Like, did they know when the first stunt?
Well, I was looking at this the other day. Actually,
Yeah.
you've got like I don't know if you've heard of Buster Keaton.
Yeah,
black and white films.
Insane.
So he did a lot of crazy stuff himself. So I think he kind of.
Oh man, it's wild. Like he'll stand there and a whole house will fall on him.
And
he's just in the right spot, man. Misses him by like a millimetre or something.
Well, the car drives part himself.
He's Buster Keaton. He was almost as big as Charlie Chaplin.
He was.
I know Chaplin,
yeah.
I know Chaplin.
So back in black and white films.
Yeah, he held the lookalike contest and come 3rd.
He did. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he did. Exactly.
That's fucking insane. Yeah.
Was that fair enough though? Would the person that won, did he actually look more like him than?
I don't know.
Who was judging? I don't remember who was judging that. But
yeah, who was judging? You don't know.
Yeah. No, so he started it. Buster Keaton, you think?
I don't know. He was pretty early on. Probably one of the early on. And you got people like Jackie Chan, and
Jackie
he
Chan's
did it
fantastic.
He did his own stunts. Now he doesn't do his own stunts.
But he must be pushing 70 or 80. He'd be into his 70s now.
Yeah.
But my God, I think
Rumble in the Bronx.
All that stuff. And you actually think if you're going back to someone like Chaplin in the movies and that, and Buster Keaton, Jackie Chan was the next one. Like he's probably the best actor going, really, because he did all that stuff.
The Chinese movies, didn't he?
Yeah,
he did a whole, hundreds.
A
of
lot
Chinese
of the fighting,
movies.
kung fu type stuff as well. So he kind of brought that to it, I think.
He was in Enter the Dragon.
Yes,
I think
he
was.
Was he?
And Bruce hit him accidentally with a big stick.
Yeah.
And he's there's a doco on YouTube on Jackie Chan. He goes and I got this bruise on me and I played it up and Bruce came over and gave me a hug after the scene had finished and all that, and he goes, "Oh, stoked, Bruce hugged me." And Bruce is looking at him saying, "Jackie, hey Jackie, that's your name, is it?" But now Jackie Chan's great. It's awesome. The stunt work is incredible, isn't it?
Yeah.
Although I think Jet Li did all his own stunt work as well.
Yes, he
Jet
did.
Li was another good one, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Well, I thought my favourite fight scenes of all time are Once Upon a Time in China Part 1, the first one. There's a Chinese opera going on, and then he takes on 20 or 30 guys, but the choreography is fucking sublime on this, and it's all up to speed.
Is that Jackie Chan?
No, it's Jet Li. I think Jet Li was legit.
Yeah.
He was a fighter.
He was a proper
actual
fighter.
Yeah.
What was the one he did with Jason Statham?
When he went to Hollywood or whatever. I'm not sure.
I can't remember what it was.
But Jet Li's Chinese stuff was fantastic. Once upon a time, we'll have to cut it in.
Yeah.
Opera fight scene, man, and it just goes, it's probably 30, 40 seconds long, but it's the fastest fight scene I've ever seen.
What's happened to him?
Yeah.
He hasn't...
Well, he must be pushing 60 or 70 now as well.
Jet Li?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I know, man.
Getting old, man. Sucks. Fucking hell.
Watch these movies when you were kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was always a bit funny with Jet Li when he went to Hollywood, though, because he is a small statue. Not statue. He's a small stature. And it's just always looked a little bit weird taking on these huge cats.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen.
No,
that's why there's weight division.
Yeah.
They don't take on the big guys. No.
Yeah.
Have you got
the magic of film. Anything can happen.
Yeah, that's right.
That's what I liked about the early Jet Li ones is that it got the balance right. There might have been a bit of wire work on it, but you couldn't tell it was wire work. That's the secret, I think, to try and make it believable.
Yeah, believable, yeah.
Unless it's going to be completely unbelievable, and that's great as
well.
Right. But
sometimes you want that fantastical looking.
Yeah. They did a good job with Fast and the Furious with that. It's real believable.
So you've done some skydiving too.
I have, yeah.
So how many jumps?
I got up to about, I think it was 300.
Holy shit,
that's a lot of jumps.
When I stopped dancing professionally and I was actually allowed to go and do stuff like that. I'm like, sweet. I learnt in America. So I went to America to do it because at the time I was living in the UK and the weather was just horrendous, so you could never get out to do it. So I flew over to America and did a couple of weeks over there and learnt to jump. And on my 30th jump, I packed my own parachute and had a malfunction. And I was like, well, maybe I shouldn't be packing my own chute this quick.
Oh my God.
I don't think I could ever trust myself to do that.
No.
So,
what happened?
Well, you cut it away. Like, you do a cutaway. You always,
you got your backup.
Yeah. So you cut
Did you pack
away.
that as well?
No.
Okay.
Thank God.
Because that's another ticket, isn't it? A rigging ticket, is it?
To pack your completely different.
And you didn't have that?
No. Would you want me? Would you want me packing your parachute?
Just bang it in there, she'll be right, mate.
That'll be fine. You'll be right, don't worry. Sweet, we'll go. It's like shaking a bit if it doesn't. You know?
Yeah.
So how far were you down before you realised it wasn't?
It's as soon as you
pulled
the chute, I could tell that it was twisted, and I was like, yeah, that's not opening.
Did it send you into a spiral or anything like that?
A little bit of one, yeah. So I started a bit of a spin, and I was like, yeah, not happening.
Jeez.
The worst part was having to go and find the parachute afterwards. So you land wherever you not necessarily where the parachute actually landed.
Yeah.
So I had to trek out and go and find it because it wasn't my parachute. It was my 30th. Was my 30th jump, or wasn't my actual own parachute yet?
Yeah.
So
you
I was
just can't
like,
leave
it
it
was
out there.
part of
You
So
could have said, there wasn't one there.
didn't open.
Yeah.
I don't think I packed it.
I think
I pulled it, it worked. I don't know what you're talking about.
Have you done any base jumping?
No, I got to the point where I went from sort of belly flying to free flying, and then base jumping was something I was thinking about doing, but I think I value my life too much.
It looks pretty crazy.
In those flying suits, that looks pretty awesome.
That looks awesome.
Yeah.
I wanted to build one with a little like extinguisher or something on it so you can actually land it. You know how
jetpack.
Well, but not a full one, so you can do the flying thing
and land in the suit.
And land in the suit. Have you seen the guy that jumped out the plane into the net?
Yes.
Yeah.
Without the parachute.
Without the parachute.
Yeah. That was
seen the guy
phenomenal.
with the wingsuit. There's two of them, and they go through a bridge.
Yes.
And one guy goes through, and the other guy hits the bridge.
I've seen it on Family Guy.
Yeah.
Remember when Peter, he has he knocks himself out and he meets that really cool friend in his dream? Yeah. That's what happens.
Yeah.
I think I dreamt about that one day. I was like, I'm never going fucking base jumping now after, I don't know if it was my head just playing back.
Do any of you guys jump?
No.
I've bungee jumped a
You know
couple
what?
times.
I paraglided a couple of times. That's quite nice.
I was always like, man, I don't care. I'd jump out of a plane and stuff, and then I just turned a certain age. Maybe I had a daughter.
And you went.
And I went, I don't fuck that. I don't need that. I don't need it in I'm just like, my back's going to be sore.
All the excuses.
Yeah, but that's for real though. I was like, what's the fucking point? I don't care. I get enough buzz.
It's a perfectly good plane.
This is fun.
I don't need to jump out of it.
Fun.
Do you think you're an adrenaline junkie? Was that from a young age? You always like pushing
possibly.
things?
I think for me that was my drug.
Yeah.
You know, I wasn't into the drugs and alcohol, so for me getting my kicks was doing something a little that gave me that buzz.
Yeah, for sure.
From doing
Getting
something
hit by a car or...
yeah. I remember once just practicing in the backyard. Well, the backyard was like the farm, obviously.
Yeah.
And we were practicing like car drags and stuff. So we were like doing rolls out of the car, and I think my parents have like looked out and they're like, oh, we don't even want to know what's going on. They were like, we're just filming some stuff for our show reel.
Yeah.
It's like,
so you got brothers?
I have a brother, yeah.
And so he was driving the car?
No, it was a stunt friend of mine that had come over. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought this was when you were kids. You took the
not
car.
kids. No, like just early stunt stuff.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
So your brother's in the same industry?
No, he's in industrial design. But he had, I had my cabs license for a while and would go and do time trials and racing, and he had a car that we would do. He had the RX-7.
Oh, yeah,
like
the rotary.
Rotary RX-7, and we take that down.
One.
Yeah, exactly. So we
big in the 90s.
They were.
Man. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, exactly. So I remember we used to go, we had roads where my parents' place is, and they were gravel dirt rides. Now they're all built out and stuff, but we used to go, and that's where I learnt to do like my 180s and 360s at this like end of the roundabout, and just in my brother's, take it down. And one's filming, and we come home and show mum and dad the footage, and
That's great. But so you always had your foot in that idea of like filming something that was going on.
I guess so, in a way. Remember the big kind of camcorders and stuff like that we had? Sure. We were filming that stuff when we were younger. Just silly things. And then now we've got little iPhones and it's a lot easier to film stuff now.
It is, but I don't know how many people are filming it. Like, my son,
do you mean?
Well, because like then a couple of kids go out and drive a car around and you film it. Yeah. But now anyone can film anything, but they're not really doing anything interesting with it. You know,
now it's TikTok and it's...
Yeah, that's right, TikTok videos and shit. Whereas everyone could be making short stories or doing...
We used to go and like pretend fight each other in the like when we were kids in the RSL car parks just to get reactions out of people. Build like your bike jumps and stuff.
How much money did you kids have? I had nothing. We didn't have a camera.
Yeah, I didn't.
Cameras were what Americans had on TV. I'm like, wow, they got a camera in
there. Yeah. But Australia's funniest home videos is the only thing I ever...
Watching people get fucked up.
Yeah. Even I don't like watching that. Like, I know how much it hurts and I see them do something and I'm like,
that's... Yeah.
Is there a stunt
real
that you've thought about that you'd really like to do in a movie that hasn't been done before? Because you've gone into the choreography side of things, or...
Well, I was thinking of the not distant to see that with the choreography, a director comes along and says, "Okay, we need to move the plot from here to here. Something needs to happen in there," and then the choreographer has carte blanche to do whatever they want in that area.
You work with the director, so the coordinator will work with the director, and there's usually the script, and then you read the script and you see where the action will fit in. So usually the script is put together, and then the coordinator will give some ideas. Okay, how do you want to do this? What do you want to? What's the reasoning behind it, and the best way to do it, and then
they deal with camera angles as well. The whole thing.
Yeah.
So you've got to have a good idea about.
Because like punches, for example, half the punches, unless it's an accident, and we've all done this when we've been shooting, accidentally hit each other when you're doing a fight scene.
Steven Seagal did.
And afterwards you're like, oh shit, sorry. Yeah. But if the camera's at a certain angle, you can see the distance between.
Yeah, absolutely.
Am I giving away secrets here? But obviously then if the camera's at a different angle, it looks like you're smashing that person in the face or smashing them somewhere. So the camera angles make a huge difference.
WWE, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a bit of pretend.
Them guys fairly
doesn't mean that it's not physical or rough. It just means that...
I do remember there was a movie, I think it was Jet Li, and he had UFC fighters come in. Like back in the day, it was like Tito Ortiz and all the... the originals, and that he goes, they were fucking smashing each other, like really punching each other. He goes, you don't have to hit each other. They go, no, it's all right. We'll do it.
We're used to it. That's what we do.
Yeah. That would be really interesting, then, isn't it? And from there, you might want to springboard into actual directing.
Yeah, second action director.
Yeah. Oh, that's a thing as well.
Yeah, quite often the stunt coordinator ends up being the action director.
Okay.
So on a big film, you'll have two sets. Like you'll have the main set and the second unit. So the second unit is usually the action unit, and that's what's looked after by the coordinator.
Okay.
And then sometimes the coordinator does end up on the main unit, and the assistant coordinator looks after the second unit, and so on.
And then they got to stitch it all together at the end.
Put it all together.
I'd hate to be an editor on one of them.
Oh my God!
I've seen the timelines, and they're just bizarre. Like there's
forever.
Like a usual, like for this, there's like 3 bars of footage.
Yeah.
But for them, it's just
huge,
this.
Huh? Yeah.
It's insane.
Being the continuity person on one of those films would be.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, did you have your jacket on last time?
That's right. The bottle was, next to
the
Yeah, that'd be fucking hard.
Unless you just wing it. Yeah, because all that stuff's been done. And it might be something.
And just see what.
Yeah,
just see if it happens.
Yeah, that's right. Like, why, if everything's been done, let's try and change it up and actually have no continuity.
Yeah, and it's happened before, and people have pointed out mistakes. It
happens all the time, yeah. And it's a big thing, pointing out mistakes. I think almost like there's a sign up here where recently with Snoop Dogg's selling some other shit, whatever he sells, and they Snoop Dogg selling shit in Wollongong. They spelt Wollongong wrong, and it made but they spelt it wrong on purpose. So we get the news and all that, and the news guys knew it, and they said, we've got to say this, but, we think they've done this on purpose, so we'd actually say this shit on the news. Right. So I don't know how that's got to do anything, but I just want to say to Snoop Dogg selling shit.
Uber Eats or something,
that guy's in there everything.
He'll sell it.
Commentary.
Yeah, man.
Well, I want to get the. He's got a GPS thing.
Okay.
I'd like that.
I don't know that. I don't think it'd get you real far.
Snoop Dogg has a GPS.
Yeah, it's GPS
I
voice.
didn't know
man.
that.
Hey, man,
Oh, on
take
your
a ride.
GPS, the voice.
Yeah, on your GPS voice.
Oh, I
You'd
thought you
always
meant-
be too slow, like you'd miss the turn. It's like, turn right.
That'd piss me off.
His voice.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I'm not a big fan
be
of his.
fun for a while and then.
Oh, man.
It might be.
If I was stoned, it would be.
You wouldn't be driving if you were
Definitely not.
You'd be walking somewhere.
Yeah. Well, it's been a pleasure having you on and hearing, something completely different.
Yeah, it's
for
been
us.
great.
What a life. You're rocking it.
We
This
appreciate you
Thanks.
coming on.
Thanks for having me.
And bringing Chester.
Yeah.
Where
Chester.
can people find you if they need a good
Want to
stunt
come and
woman?
do
They need
some
a
of
good
that yoga
st-
stuff
of that,
as
well,
well.
yeah. So I've got my individual website, which is ingesildnik.com.au. And if they want to come and train with me, they can come to Elite, which is eliit.com.au.
And where's that gym at?
In Dural in Sydney, northwest Sydney.
All the Sydney viewers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So over the bridge.
Over the bridge?
Yeah.
From Waverley, you mean?
Is Waverley
What?
over the bridge?
Which way do you mean over the bridge?
What, Winding
I'm
Bridge?
getting confused.
That's
Hang on.
in North Sydney. Is
Which
that the
bridge?
Sydney Harbour Bridge?
Oh, northwest Sydney.
Oh, northwest.
Sorry.
Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
yeah. I'm like, what bridge are we talking?
There's a few bridges in between here and there.
Yeah.
And also, on the last thing, do you
Yeah.
need a boxing coordinator?
What? Oh,
I mean, I'll take shots for money. I don't care. I
Mark,
do
you
it
don't
anyway.
have to catch him with your
fight
face.
coordinator. Well, actually, I've just been asked to do a bit of fight choreography.
Okay, there you go.
So,
I'm available. I'll give you my number,
yep,
account, and contract details. We'll chat.
you're right.
All right, guys. We'll catch you next week.
Cheers,
Hope you
Inge. That was
enjoyed.
great.